and welcome to a very different drop frames today. Cohh is lost in the Starfield, and Zeke's lost in the mud. We haven't heard from Zeke, by the way. He's at Burning Man. If you're watching this, I guess, live. If you're watching this in the future, I'm sure he's home fine. If you're watching this live, I don't know. Burning Man's kind of a literal shit show right now. They declared a state of emergency and a shelter in place. So, yeah.
So people spreading misinformation that was Ebola at Burning Man.
Yeah. There's a social media thing now that an Ebola outbreak has occurred in at Burning. It's going well.
That's probably Zeke's doing. Probably Zeke's doing.
Zeke probably did that. I think that was probably Zeke, if anyone. It originated from him. I saw the big. Me and Dan were talking about it before. The big like social trend or social video is Diplo and Chris Rock in the back of a truck driving away from Burning Man. So
apparently Chris Rock needed to be at a show and they made it. Like they somehow marched 6 miles through the mud and then got to a truck and then made it to a show on time.
And that's a love story right there, man.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
It's
a movie.
I saw a bunch of memes of like people just like scrambling to get out of a house or whatever, and it was like Hulu and Netflix documentary and like running to Burning Man to try and figure out why it collapsed and what it's like, which would be an interesting, I guess, documentary. But yeah, it's rough out there. I don't know if it rained overnight. Essentially, they were saying they need like, I forgot what the math was. I think it's like if there's 5 minutes of rain, it needs an hour to dry or something. So every time it rains, it just means like the mud is more and more work. I don't know what it was. But there wasn't that much rain and it just kind of screwed everything. So yeah, we haven't heard from Zeke. I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he'll figure out a way.
Yeah.
There's no cell signal out there. So that's the other issue. I think most of the people that are like tweeting out from Burning Man are using like satellite phones and satellite.
Dude, isn't that interesting?
things.
Like if a zombie outbreak happened where there was no phone signal, like Burning
we wouldn't
Man,
know.
it would be too. By the time we knew, it'd be too late.
I mean, I guess
It'd be
that's
too
true.
late.
There's very few places where that's the case, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like where we
Like
don't
the
have
high concentration of people too,
Yeah,
and they're all wearing like no clothes, so it's easy to bite.
yeah, that's true. I
He
don't think
seems to type that he's probably made a raider gang like from Fallout, and he's now like scavenging and looting and
He's
taking
leading
over
the gang.
territory.
Yeah,
I don't know if Zeke would be the gang leader. I feel like Zeke would be the like leader's bitch. You know what I'm saying? he'd be the leader's gimp. So that's what he would be. But he would still be like up near the top, but he wouldn't want to lead.
yeah,
He'd be the gimp.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think you would agree with me on that. That's a sweet role. You know, you're at the top, you get all the luxury.
I don't think the gimp is a particularly sweet role, but like being near the top is a sweet role.
I think Zeke would think it's a sweet role, you know?
I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would.
He might. Anyways, so that's the show. It's gonna be the three of us. We were trying to grab a fourth to talk Starfield and whatnot, but look, everyone's in the field of stars. They're busy.
They're out there.
Yeah, they're out there. They're out there surfing the stars or whatever you do in that game. We got a bunch of news as well. We can kind of go through that, and then we'll talk Starfield for sure. Where do we all land? What did you guys say Metacritic wise, by the way, on Starfield? We can start there. I think both of you were saying low 90s. Is that right?
I said 90 on the dot. Yeah.
90 on the dot, and then Dan,
I was like low to mid 90s.
Okay. The Metacritic, at least on the PC version, because I guess the Series X has different Metacritic, is an 88 right now. It's an 87 on the Xbox, and the Open Critic is an 87 average with 93% recommended. So a little lower, but if you care about reviews, that's where that's at. I think Strippin, did you play? I saw you played 3 hours on Steam. I don't know what that equated to and what that looked like on stream. But I guess
How much
let's
have I
just start
played?
there because that's top of mind, I think, for everyone watching the show, and I think for us as well, with what Starfield is and how it is. What did you think, Strippin? I think we have like 3 varying opinions between the 3 of us. It should be a good conversation.
I wasn't super excited for Starfield in the way that I'm not like a diehard Bethesda fan. I like didn't play, Oblivion or Morrowind. I like heard about the company with like Fallout 3 New Vegas, and then I kind of Skyrim, and then Fallout 4, and that was like kind of it. So I was excited for it, but I expected it to be a Bethesda game, and it was. I got like a little silly with it. I'm doing like a fist only build, so I'm only punching things to death. So that's been my experience. Is like a lot of just ragdolling into space, and then like trying to fight an unwinnable fight with my hands.
Okay.
It's been pretty fun. At one point, because I've played No Man's Sky, so there was like elements of like, oh, I know what to do in this situation, and so I spent like 4 minutes at one point trying to fly to the next planet, and
Sure.
chat was like, he doesn't know Pepe laugh before they like informed me that you fast travel, and once you get the hang of like how the systems work and that they're different, it's fine. There was one thing though, is like for some reason, and I don't know why this is, Bethesda just like shafted the UK, like gaming press and creators.
Oh yeah,
like it was like no one got a press copy until like really 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 late, and like no one got early access to the game. Like
right.
maybe 1 or 2 creators that I could find in the entire like country. And I don't know why they did this, but they only gave early access to like US creators. So that kind of soured my mood a little going into it. But I enjoyed it. I'll probably go back to it soon. It's not like I'm obsessed with this game and I'm not going to put it down because I don't think I've like got into the meat and potatoes of the game yet to get hooked.
Yeah, it starts off slow, I would say.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Yeah. And that's kind of been my experience. But I've been having fun and being silly with it. So that's where I'm at.
That's probably I would say that's the best way to approach this game. Is just to have fun and like seek out the fun and seek out the silliness of it. Dan, are you on the opposite? Because I know you're like, I think you're a self-proclaimed Bethesda fanboy, right? I'm not labeling you as such. You would label yourself as such. Where are you at with Starfield?
I feel like it's been probably not as exciting in the beginning as I was hoping it would be. It was kind of slow paced and stuff. Like the beginning it kind of feels like a TV show where it takes a good season to like build up all the characters and stuff before it starts to go.
Yeah.
And as I've been doing the main quest, the game has been getting progressively more amazing. It's just that first period of like building up to that is pretty slow, and it's but like now that I'm like getting deeper in the main story and more things are unlocking mechanics and stuff, it's starting to get more awesome in a lot of different ways, and the story's getting cool, and it's just one of those games, but that most people won't make it past that beginning part. If it doesn't like hook you instantly, like then people won't even get to that part.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of probably a mistake on their part. If they want to like draw in a lot of people, like you got to really have a stronger hook in the beginning, and it just kind of is a slow burn. I personally like that. I like slow games and slow burn, but I know that's not like the most popular thing that people like. That's like the most common complaint I'm hearing is that it's so slow and dull in the beginning.
Sure.
But as now that I'm getting further into it, I'm getting like it's growing on me more and more and more. As like Todd put it in an interview, like the more time I'm giving it, the more it's giving back, and it's feeling better as I get deeper into it.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying it so far in the pacing.
Strippin, is this you flying towards the planet?
Yeah, and they weren't telling me, and I'm like boosting every time it's full, and I'm like, I swear the planet's getting bigger, and they're like, he doesn't know, it's not getting bigger, and yeah, this was me. So
yeah. I think I'm like in the middle of where both of you are. I have like a severe love-hate relationship with this game. There's so many things in it that I just absolutely abhor and will like constantly bitch about. And then I'll step away from the game for like an hour. And then last night off stream, it's like, well, guess I'm gonna go play Starfield. And then I just played for like another 6 or 7 hours. I don't know if that's just like my addictive personality, or what, but there's so many things to just easily hate on this, but I just find myself, I put 34 hours in the game already,
Wow,
which is
okay.
a significant amount. And I find myself constantly like just saying exactly what I just said. I would play it right now, but I would immediately start bitching about something because there are bitch-worthy things about this game. First and foremost, what the fuck is this inventory system? This shit is terrible. It's fucking dog shit.
Skyrim inventory.
Oh my
me
god.
Greatly.
We need Sky UI in here like immediately.
ASAP, yeah.
It's so bad. Like truly the worst of worst. I don't know. Dan, did you turn on the cheats or Strippin, did you turn on the cheats for unlimited inventory? I'm like right there.
No.
I'm like super close.
No, I haven't.
I haven't.
I maxed out carrying limit on my character, so I'm at 250 or whatever the max is. And then I built a ship specifically for like cargo purposes. But unfortunately, what that meant is that I was terrible at everything else. And the game kind of expects you to be combat ready.
Yeah.
When you're flying around.
Combat.
Yeah.
There's I feel a lot of perk starvation in this game where like I can't have
100%
high inventory and be good at combat and be good at ship combat. Like the beginning is very rough with perk points right now.
Yeah, 100%. I'm level 20 right now, and I'm feeling that real bad. Because I've spec'd out like I said, that I have 4 perks in weight to like carry more. And then I have 4 perks in piloting, so I can make a better ship. And then I have like a couple perks in like weapons and stuff to like do better damage and things like that. And now I'm realizing that I can't change or interact with the systems to like upgrade my guns.
Yeah,
and so you have to. Yeah, you have to get 5 perks in science to even get to the second tier, so you can alter your guns and you can alter your spacesuits, and like that sucks that it takes so long to interact with those systems. I guess level 20 is not much in a game where the level is, there's no cap to it.
6,000, right? 6,000.
Oh, I don't even know. I heard there was no cap. Maybe it is 6,000. That makes sense.
There's no cap, but I think if you have everything, you are 6,000.
You're 6,000. Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, I agree 100%, Dan. Like I'm skill point starved. Like I wish I could go and interact with all those systems because it seems fun. I just can't, right? So I was trying to like.
Be worried. I've only leveled unarmed and like a little bit of health.
Yeah, they really want you to specialize like early, like on one type of dealing damage because you just don't have enough perks to like dabble in everything.
Yeah,
this is me leveling my unarmed here.
I saw.
Let's see.
Yeah, you're crushing.
That looks very effective. You were tearing them up.
You're destroying those level 1 creatures that won't harm you.
They have 1 health, so it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to punch a rock now. It's really
this is the most stripping playthrough I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just kept blacking out because I wasn't maintaining oxygen properly, and every time you swing unarmed, it uses oxygen. It's not like it's firing a gun. So I'm just like fighting enemies and blacking out halfway through because I'm constantly like tapping into my O2. Like using too much O2.
Yeah, that just circles back to the inventory system. Like the first 10, 15 hours of this game were just me being completely encumbered. I did a thoughts video on this after the first day, and I've constantly said this. And I think it's kind of a stupid statement, but I'm going to say it anyways. The worst thing for Starfield was that Baldur's Gate came out. Because it highlighted everything that I like see that I'm frustrated with in this game. Like Baldur's Gate has done it better.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely systems where Baldur's Gate has excelled at those systems, and then that's like a hard whiplash comparison. I think they're very different games, but there's definitely
100%.
like systems like inventory and equipment management that is like one game was like, hey, let's
And-
use our 10 years of experience to make this user friendly, and the other company was like, let's stick to what we always do.
Well,
and then it's a list. It's just a big old list of gear.
the Baldur's Gate inventory is also awful. Like it's well, awful is a strong word. It's not the best part of the game by far. It's not an elegant solution to it. But you're able to like send things to camp, which narratively doesn't make much sense. But if I could go up and like send things to my ship, which has X amount of cargo space, that would solve so many issues. I just don't know, like narratively, how that would make sense. Does the ship?
I
Come
feel
and,
like they
pick
could
it
have
up,
doubled. They could have doubled your base carry weight, and nothing about this game would have changed. It just would have been better.
Yeah. You can
Like,
send stuff.
100 pounds is not a lot. I have
not.
130 carry weight, and I get over encumbered in the second room of the game, and I'm not even picking everything up. I'm just picking up things that like might be useful.
Yeah. Dan, what were you gonna say?
If you can send stuff to your ship, but only if you're like within a certain distance of it.
Okay.
I think it's like 500 meters or so. Like if you can, relative to your ship, you can open up the inventory, go to your ship, and then drop stuff in your cargo hold. But you can't like do it if you go too far away or in a dungeon, which kind of makes it not that useful.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many mods. I'm like, okay, I need a mod for this. I need a mod for that. Like to tweak
100%.
those little decisions here and there.
Yeah. Well, go
they
ahead.
have never made a good UI in a game yet, and modders have to fix it every time. I would say like this is one of their sleekest UIs, and it's like at least big and you can see multiple items at once, but it's still like tell that they haven't quite learned how to make a great PC UI yet. It's very controller focused.
Do you think as a Bethesda fan they lean into like, don't worry too much about that, modders will fix it?
I think it's just like a reality that they're going to sell 80% of their copies on console and then 20 on PC. So they focus their resources on the one instead of both. But
yeah,
like it's at this point, you think they would have had like a team work on the PC UI a bit better, but I guess not. But this game is just so staggeringly huge. Like it just wows me. They probably put this low on the priority list.
100%.
It should have been high.
Well, you mentioned like the I think you said it was like a console UI. The second you actually start using a controller, everything kind of feels better. Everything makes a lot more sense when it comes to the UI. It's just for me on the hardest difficulty where mobs are actually like pretty difficult and kind of bullet spongy. I prefer them like mouse and keyboard aiming. But if I'm like flying around, I immediately grab the controller. It feels so much better. Like holding down left alt and like WASD to change the power permissions or whatever for the ship.
Yeah. So bad. I don't know like who came up with that. I'm like that. My fingers don't move that way.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And I don't know if the two of you have played controller, but how does it handle keybinds on the controller in terms of like weapons? Because on PC you have like 1 through 0, which you can bind. I don't know how that works on a controller. How you filter through that?
I think usually in the other games you would pull up a weapon wheel and you would, when you like favorite something and put it on the hotbar for the numbers.
Yeah,
like that thing pops up and you just move over to the thing you want. I
Got
don't
it.
know how to access it on the controller, but that's usually how it works.
Yeah. I have not interacted with it in that regard. I think
Dan's been posting a bunch of life tips on Twitter. I've seen.
Oh, the quality
Starfield
of
life tips. Yeah,
well, a lot of them are important. Like right here, I'm watching you mine. Are you holding down right click? You could mine faster.
No, I held left click for it. This is going to be 20 minutes of me holding left click, man. And then I got over encumbered, and then I just threw it all away.
Yeah. That's
materials weigh so much, and they weigh you down and your ship down so quickly.
I'm curious if I've seen. I shouldn't say a lot of streamers, but I've seen Sips and I think Lyric, which makes sense given the two of those references. So they don't have ship storage. They just go into their ship and throw everything into the back. And so when they walk into the ship, there's like, 100 just crap laying around.
Wait, that's genius though.
And so it just dumps it all. It's not organized.
Does that contribute to your ship's weight?
I don't think so. I don't.
That's genius.
I can't say yes or no to that. I just know that I've watched Sips walk into his ship and he said, "Yeah, man, it gets crazy when I'm flying around because that just flies everywhere." So I don't know if that's like the best way to start off because it ignores the storage limit on the ship. I don't know. The inventory though. I think is right at the very beginning is and even 30 hours in, definitely the worst part. I sorting through it sucks. The way it's presented is bad. Like I want Sky UI so fast, and I'm sure they're working on it. I think that's probably like the worst part of the game for me is just like how much time I've spent struggling with the inventory aspect of it. You beat the shit out of those aliens. They're stripping with your hands.
So I didn't know how to scan things, and they wouldn't scan, and I couldn't figure out how. But I realized if I killed them, they automatically got scanned. So I just walked around killing everything, and now here's me trying to mine water.
Yeah, you just walk up. Oh, this is an odd thing. How come when you're doing this and you're in the scan mode, it deactivates the ability to go up and press E on it? Because that's what you're supposed to do to that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was out here punching things because I think
system?
I figured out that the only way I could get data was to punch things.
Well, you're supposed to scan.
I didn't know how to scan this thing. I thought if I looked at it long enough, it would scan.
It says on the bottom scan. If you press
you're just
E.
going to watch me look at this thing. For like 3. I'm not kidding. This is me. And then like, I don't know. I think I hit you by accident, but I don't know why it scanned there. And in my brain, I'm like, oh, I looked at it long enough. I just go around. I keep going.
It's actually kind of a perfect example of watching through this clip. Because I think most people do this. Like you're not you're not the unicorn in this process.
No,
it's pretty normal.
And I'm lucky that I played the game the second it came out. Because if I'd have started an hour late, people would have torn me apart for this. But at the time, no one knew that I was doing stuff wrong.
Yeah.
So I was okay.
It's pretty silly. I want to see how I haven't messed around too much with melee combat.
They run from you. It's
well,
rough.
they're not.
It's rough because every swing takes oxygen, and then so in my playthrough, okay, I get to the second planet and I'm punching, I'm boxing my way through life, I'm having a good time. I get to the second planet and a bounty hunter shows up, and she shows up out of nowhere.
Did you take the wanted perk?
Yes.
That's okay.
So she shows up, but she's on my team. She's like, "Yo, there's a bunch of criminals across the ridge in this compound. Help me take them out, and I'll pay you." And so the bounty hunter that approaches me is not wearing a helmet. So I'm like, chat, is this atmosphere breathable? And they're like, duh, she's not wearing a helmet. So I took my helmet off and destroyed my lungs. Like, obliterated my lungs. And then I didn't have medicine. So I spent the next 2 hours in game just trying to find medicine to cure my lungs as they got steadily worse. It was at the point where I could only punch twice before I had to stop for, like I had to stop and breathe. And I was like, I couldn't breathe properly because I took my helmet off on the second planet because they put an AI in front of me, an NPC that wasn't wearing a helmet.
I love that you're.
So
here
I thought
for
it was
this.
okay.
Zeke, I almost just called you Zeke. Strippin, you're the everyman. I love it. This is great.
I'm the everyman.
Because this is probably the most shared experience, but people are too afraid to admit.
3 hours in with what they have classified as severe lung damage, but my build requires only my lungs, so I'm like completely useless.
Yeah, I could see why you would have the experience that you had in terms of your enjoyment of it. But
I did beat a level 6 boss to death with my hands with no heals.
I bet that felt good.
It felt really good.
Did you take the melee perks?
I started with burglar, and it gives you unarmed and pickpocketing and secure. That's something else. I don't know.
Okay.
Athletics, maybe.
Sure.
So all I've done is I punch everyone, and then I rob nice people. And the first time I robbed someone, I got caught, and then now I have a sky high bounty, and I I'm supposed to go to the main city, but I know the second I go there, they're gonna
arrest you.
arrest me. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. What background or whatever did you choose, Dan?
I chose
He's a chef.
chef.
Oh,
Yeah,
chef.
chef.
Okay.
You start with a knife, and then the eating perk, and then scavenging perk.
Okay.
And yeah, I realized pretty quickly that melee weapons aren't good on the hard difficulty because they just don't do enough damage, and the enemies do way too much to like run up to stuff and punch them.
Yeah.
So I had
Yeah.
to
We could
switch over to
use
guns.
that as a jumping off point. Like, Stripper, are you playing on very hard or is this normal?
This is normal.
Okay. I don't think I could recommend very hard to people. It like Bethesda has this fascination with difficulty of like if you've played any Bethesda game, difficulty means upping the damage that enemies do and the HP that they do and decreasing your damage in a lot of ways. And that's the slider.
The beginning is brutal.
It's brutal.
But eventually you start finding like really good weapons and armor, and then you start slaughtering them even on hard difficulty.
Yeah.
But until that point, it is a brutal struggle of unloading multiple rounds of clips into something to try to kill it.
Yeah. Yeah. I ran out of ammo. I was not buying ammo.
Types.
And I just ran out. And so my process became the Bethesda, situation of quick saving, hiding behind a rock, and then trying to run out to the left or right and not just get one shot, and then having the physics engine go crazy and your character just spiraling off to the side, and then quick loading back in. And they do a thing too with when you quick load in, particularly in combat, you notice it. When you quick load in, you can't move or interact for about a second, but the enemies can interact before you. And so if you're in line of sight, you die before you can move. And so that happened to me a bunch where I was just like trying to make them miss of like trying to jump.
We should really watch Dan here and not me.
I'm enjoying this. This is great. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So I ran into that a lot as well. In terms of like the loading, but yeah, difficulty wise, Dan, can you recommend very hard? I don't think I can.
I would say hard is a better one to do early in the game, and then like once you have a good weapon that you're killing stuff easily, then you could probably bump it up to very hard, but not right away. I don't.
Can you bump up at any point?
Yeah, you can change it up and down whenever you want. So
you can even min max it, Strippin. Apparently, you can load into an area on very hard and put it back down to very easy, and all of the chest will contain loot and all of the NPCs will have items as if you're on very hard. So you could do that if you wanted. If you really wanted to like up your loot advantage.
I will use this information irresponsibly.
Yeah, I saw that in chat last night that people were doing that. So yeah, interact with that how you want. How do you feel about the loot, Dan? Are you finding cool items? Like I can't build anything, so I have to. And I think you as well haven't gotten to the customization of the weapons or the armor or anything like that. So I've just had to rely on loot drops.
Most of the like modifiers are like just sort of passive things that you won't really notice, like take 10% less damage from human enemies and stuff. But I did find one fun item that was on a vendor. It was a shotgun. It's called Boom Boom. And what it does is it's a normal shotgun some of the times, and then occasionally it'll just randomly fire explosive rounds. And the explosive rounds do mega damage to anything randomly.
Oh, okay.
And it's AoE, so it blew me the hell, like instantly one-shot me when it hit. Like the bullet, it shoots like 12 bullets that do about 13 damage. But when it hits the explosive round, it does about 40 damage per bullet in an AoE.
Damn.
It just massively slaughters stuff. It was very fun.
Yeah,
I ran out of my shotgun ammo very quickly though. But
that sounds very strong. Yeah, I haven't found so the second in the opening of the game, you're in like the tutorial. You fight some people. Let's say, I guess for spoiler purposes. And I fought the boss or killed the boss, and he dropped like a blue item. And then I died right after that. So it reloaded and it reloaded right before that, and I killed the boss again, and he dropped a legendary on the second mob in the game, which I was like, oh damn, this is sick. This is great. And it's like a laser rifle or something like that. And I started using it, and I guess the perks rolled terribly, even though it's legendary. And so it's just complete. It does like 4 damage for a laser rifle. It's just terrible.
Weird. Like a white item and a legendary item do the same damage. The only difference is that the legendary will have 3 modifiers on it that might not even affect damage. So
Yeah.
it's very strange.
Yeah. I don't know. I've had there is armor that you can get very quickly in the game if you have. Oh, that's where I put my other skill points was lockpicking. There's armor you can get very quickly if you have master lockpicking, that has like 100 stats across the board, like 100 defense or whatever, which is like 50 or 60 higher than anything else that I had encountered in the game. But it's a white item, and I don't have the customization unlocked for spacesuits. So I assume once that happens, that's going to be like very, very strong as soon as I can actually start adding perks and stuff to that.
Yeah, I haven't even been able to tell if, like, if you can upgrade something to be legendary or.
Yeah, I don't know if you
rare.
can. That's right. I have no idea how that works. Or if the best practice is like, do you get a legendary to drop and then you modify it? I guess because guns have a certain amount of mod slots on them. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I noticed that as you get higher level, more guns drop that have mods in them already, which can raise the damage and stuff. Eventually, once you start hitting certain level points, the weapons themselves will start just doing base higher damage, like drastically higher sometimes.
So they just
My
up
rifle,
the level. Okay.
yeah, I found like a white item that it went from normally rifles do about 4 damage, the automatic rifles, but then this one was doing 20 damage per shot, which was like much better and much more effective.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
There's definitely some weird like line of gear that needs to be adjusted with mods.
What
to make it
what level are
better.
you, Dan?
I think I just hit 20, level 20.
Mm.
Seems like every 10 levels is like another bump in gear ability. Kind of like Fallout 76. I don't know if you played that, where like there's like tiers where gear would start to like be better like at level 5 or 10, and it seems like there's some system like that in this game.
Interesting. Okay.
Cool.
That would make sense because when I was playing offline last night, I had just hit 20, and all of the weapons that I found were doing significantly more damage. So if it is every like 10 levels is the threshold, that makes a lot of sense. That right there, whatever that type of gun is, a Grendel or something, that's been like my go-to type so far. It's very strong.
It's good.
I haven't really found a gun that's super comparable to it. That legendary laser that I found, the only reason that it is good is it has a percentage chance when you kill an enemy with it for the enemy to drop a med pack.
Oh, that's god tier.
And so I'd get the mobs like low and then swap to the laser to try and get a med pack out of that because I'm constantly without med packs. And one of the skills, I don't know if you guys have encountered this, one of the skills to actually increase in science, the first tier for healing, which increases med packs heals, is you have to use med packs. And it's like 50 med packs to increase it from rank 2 to 3. So you either have a shit ton of med packs and go and like stand in some gas somewhere and just like take the damage and then take a med pack because you have to heal damage. Or jump off of something, or I don't know. But you'd probably break your leg and be in Strippin situation where you have an injured body parts.
Very hard.
Oh, I did. I
What? Everyone's
on very hard. I definitely got into the habit of like emptying every med pack on every vendor. Like just if they have it, I buy it.
Yeah.
Like you run out so quickly.
Yeah.
I sprained my ankle immediately. I know
From
you
jumping?
just made a joke about that, but yeah. So that one of the other wounds I'm carrying, I have severely damaged lungs and a sprained ankle that won't heal. So
having a rough time on that planet. Damn.
Yeah, that planet's not. I mean, look, space sucks. Okay, it's brutal out there. You could get hurt in a billion ways. It's really rough. It's really rough. Let's talk about the ship customization. Have you guys messed with it at all? Have you done much dog fighting? Like, how are you stripping? I know you were flying at a planet for 10 minutes. Is that the extent of your ship faring adventures?
Yeah, because flying is a lie.
A little bit.
I would fly more if I didn't get baited for 4 minutes into flying and not moving. But now I've accepted that you just fast travel, so I don't fly. I don't fly at all.
Sure. Dad, have you done any of the dog fighting stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. Like right in the beginning, they make you do a quick fight when you leave the first planet to like give you a tutorial on how it works and stuff. But outside that, there hasn't been too many fights. Occasionally here and there, I'll jump into a system and there's like a fight going on between two people and join in on it. But like you, my ship is big, thick, and slow. So because it has all the storage space on it, so trying to maneuver in battle is a bit rough. So I try to avoid ship battles if I can, because I need that space for all that cargo. And in order to bounce it out, you got to put tons of engines.
Yeah. Sorry, this is the starter ship. I was going to show some ship customization, but I loaded in. I went to like edit my ship, and the NPC was up in the sky, so I couldn't talk to him. So I
saw that clip on Twitter. That was great.
I had to reload the area.
Did you see my geologist that I found?
No, what was that?
It's on Twitter. I found a geologist, but he was inside a rock, and only his face was poking out. And he was like, "I love rocks," and I was like, "You sure do, buddy. You sure do."
I love it. Look, you said in that tweet.
I love that element.
I love it too. Like a lot of people look at that and be like, "Oh, that's jank," but that's what makes these games fun in a lot of ways.
When people said these Bethesda games this Bethesda game is significantly less buggy, it made me sad.
Yeah,
because what is a Bethesda game without the comedy of bugs?
Yeah.
It truly those are why these games are a lot of fun. Like when you load in your character, like spirals out physics wise and just goes blasting off to the side. That shit's hilarious. And it's
great.
It's not like frustrating. It's just silly when it happens. It might be a little immersion breaking, but that's what I enjoy. I don't mind that. And there haven't really been that many bugs, to be honest. Like
no, they haven't.
This was this might have been because I was playing like the press version, and I think the press version on Thursday there was a day one patch or something. I don't know how true that is. But that might have been why that guy was up in the sky. But yeah, damn, what were you gonna say?
I've had a couple silly bugs, like Sarah, one of the NPCs you meet, like her eyes were stuck closed on a whole planet. Her eyes couldn't open. She was walking around shooting and talking to me the whole time with her eyes closed. Her eyes just would not open.
See, that's
great. I love that. That's so fun. Yeah. Sarah in particular is kind of buggy. If you had Sarah just turn into the fucking Flash sometimes and just like run at a door nonstop.
I'll walk into a room, load in, and she just like zooms across the place for no reason.
I don't know why.
Slow down, ladies.
But it's so funny when it does. I love that type of shit. It's always hilarious when it happens.
There was one very funny moment where I was on the ship talking to her, and I did one of the flirt options, and then she gets embarrassed and is like, "I've got to go. I gotta go." And she literally just turns around and stands in the dark corner of the ship, just moving in the corner, feet away.
Oh God, man, the dialogue options are kind of rough. I don't know if you encountered that when you went to flirt for the first time, but it's the equivalent of her being like, "Yeah, my dog died, and it's really rough for me." And then the next line that the player has is like, bracket flirt, bracket, like, "You can feed me anytime like you fed your dog," or something like that.
I'll kill your dog.
Yeah, where did this come from? Why is that an option?
Not a moment to flirt. What is happening?
It's so awkward. It's really, really awkward and kind of cheesy and I guess Bethesda in a way.
Baldur's Gate set
making
the
a ship
dialogue bar so high.
It really did. Yeah, this is me figuring out the ship stuff. And I can
just pull all the legs off like a Lego.
Yeah,
and then you try and
Well, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I mean, this system's incredibly complicated when you first jump in.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, I would act.
Yeah, it's like I felt like the scanning the planet was complicated too. Like,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like, unfortunately it does, and I don't mean this offensively. It requires a lot of reading. Like, you have to actually take a second and study the UI. And I'm just not prone to do that. I'm prone to press A in it just to like and do something immediately.
What I found out after playing it with like an hour is it's an incredibly simple system, but the UI is really weird and awkward to show what. There's only the only thing you got to worry about is mass and make sure your grav drive and engines can handle that mass, and then that's really it. The rest of it's just sort of like your reactor can only store these parts, and it's really not that hard. It just looks really hard because UI is so weird and confusing.
Yeah, you would have think they would have put a tutorial in here for this.
Yeah,
of just like how to break this all down. Because I fiddled with it for about an hour, and essentially I just like destroyed the ship and then started adding parts on until it didn't let me anymore. And I built like this giant monstrosity with just a massive amount of cargo.
Human centipede spaceship.
Just
dude.
like the human centipede spaceship that had 0 thrust and like max speed was 90, but it had like 1,400 cargo. And so I'm like, well, that's what I wanted.
It's like a turtle or something. It's very like
Yeah.
wide.
Yeah.
Wide and flat.
Would you guys say that like that they've made a choice to like drip feed all this stuff throughout the game instead of just doing a tutorial, and that's why it feels so slow at the start, because like they wanted to kind of ease players into all these systems, but they didn't want to make a tutorial.
Maybe
that's kind of the gist I get.
I mean, there's nothing forcing you into shipbuilding at the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
and I think that's maybe why they left it out, where it's not like here's how you shoot, and now you're going to go scan a planet, and then you're going to leave the planet, and you're going to go and interface. Do you want to build a ship? Here's a tutorial. Like, Bethesda games kind of just want you to jump in and experience everything at your own pace in your own way. At least that's what I took from it, and they want you to go down that path without super hand-holdy. I'm not saying that's better or worse. I'm just saying that's kind of what I feel was their plan. And it, that's hit or miss for some people. Some people really enjoy diving.
This looks like a dragon.
It's a weird ship. It's a very strange ship.
And you're kind of limited on parts in the beginning of the game, but they do unlock more parts as you play, so you have more options for more ship stuff as you get deeper into the game.
Yeah.
Can you find ships?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can even
buy whole ships from the ship person that's standing at the dock.
Yeah.
Sell you a whole ship if you want a new one.
The ship stuff's pretty cool. You can actually, because since you took the wanted perk, Strippin, those bounty hunters will constantly just like randomly show up on a planet and attack you. But they will only show up on a planet if they have a ship that lands on that planet. And so if you ever see a ship land on the planet and they send guys after you, you can run at their ship, get on the ship, kill the guys in the ship, take their ship, and go and sell it. And so, like, that's really cool that they have that system built into the game. You don't get very much money, unfortunately, when you steal their ship, because you have to register the ship. And in my experience, registering the ship was 11,000 credits, and it sold for 13,000. So you make like 2,000 on it, which is, I think that's their way of saying like, well, you can't just like abuse this system and make a fuck ton of money. But the fact that stuff exists is really cool. I really enjoy that aspect of it. And a lot of times those ships just look better than anything I've ever made, right? Like they're fully formed ship that just look badass. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I spent like 4 or 5 hours in this and then got attacked once and found a cooler looking ship within 5 minutes. Right.
Also, in space, you can attack the ships, and if you get their health low enough, you'll get the option to dock them as well and go inside and kill the crew and take their ship that way if you want as well.
Yeah.
There's some really nice looking ships pre-built out there that are cool.
There are. Yeah. There's quests too, where when you finish the quest, they'll give you a ship, the quest line rather. So there's a bunch of ways to like get that stuff. I would not recommend jumping in and building a ship at the very start. It's very expensive. First and foremost, like 100,000 credits or 50,000 credits minimum to do that. And the worst part about building the ship is it was not necessarily for combat purpose. And I don't know if you experienced this, Dan, but if I randomly jumped to a system and got into a combat in space, I'm dead. There's nothing I can do. Like I basically have to reload and just hope that RNG doesn't hit me again, because I would just die. Like there's nothing I can do to defeat them whatsoever.
I did figure out how you can grav jump in combat. You just have to power up your grav drive, click on something random to jump to, and then if you get it off before they get your damage low enough, you can just escape battles. That use a lot.
Does it have to be? Because I know when I tried to do that, it was like you're in combat, you can't grav jump. Was that because I was trying to grav jump too far? Does it have to be like to the next system around you?
Like you can't do it in the menu. You have to like visually see with your cockpit a planet or something to jump to.
Got
it. You press E to select it, and then you can jump there. Then you gotta wait for the grav drive to power up. And once it does, then you can fly away and escape something.
Yeah, and you can put power into the gravity engine or whatever, and that will decrease the grav jump time that it takes if they haven't destroyed
turn your weapons off and power up the grav drive to full if you want.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool. They just don't tell you that outright, and so I sat there in like a 10-minute reload death loop of just ships destroying me in the air until I eventually just like reloaded right before, then went back to the area and the ships weren't there. That's how I got out of that aspect. But
are they like randomly generated companions? Like, can you just find a companion that's like a giga pilot or something?
I don't know. I don't think there are.
So there's like companions that are randomly around the world. I don't know if they're randomly generated or not, but like you'll just be in a city and there's just someone there with skills. And I think if you assign them to your ship as a crew member, your ship gets their skills. Like if they have maxed out piloting and you assign them as a crew, you will have maxed out piloting in combat that you can use, and also ballistics and stuff.
Got
it. Your ship
That's
will have
cool.
like crew slots you can fill up, and then you can use their skills to help you until you get them yourself.
Okay. Yeah. My chat is saying you can hire at bars. And so I guess you can go to a random bar and just see what stats.
So far they've all been in bars, and that makes sense.
Yeah. Companion wise, just to touch on that for a second, we were kind of talking about the dialogue stuff earlier. I find all of the companions to be annoying. I don't know if that's the case for you guys, but like Sarah, for example, she follows me around right now because I'm like main story locked with her, and all she does is just like, I really need to talk to you about something. Shut the fuck up, Sarah. God. I'm fucking. They all do that.
I really need to talk to you right now. I really need to talk to you.
I really need to. Sarah, not that. There's guys right here shooting us. We need to focus on this and not talk about your feelings towards what's happening in the game.
I know we're stealthing up on this guy, but I really need to talk to you right now.
Yeah. Well, dude, the stealth stuff, unless you have a certain NPC that like actually utilizes stealth, my NPCs will just fucking walk into a door, trigger an entire fight. It just, the AI is kind of silly sometimes. They can die, but then I think they just show up randomly afterwards, right? Like there's no, I don't know how that works. And you can't like send them to do things. You can't say like, go here and attack. They kind of just exist.
There's probably a command in there somewhere buried in the UI. They just never explain. But I have not seen a way to like command them yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Don't worry, the modders will find a way.
Yeah, well,
they do.
I would love for them to find a way, Strippin, because even just like a go and attack this guy thing, like that alone would be fantastic. It would solve so many issues. Because otherwise, my companion is just walking around, like taking hits, triggering fights, advancing on the enemy, or they'll straight up kill an enemy. And because you haven't shot that enemy, I don't think you get the XP for it. And so they can actually like take away XP in certain fights if they just go up and kill a bunch of guys and you don't interact with the enemy. I don't think you get XP for that. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's really frustrating when that type of shit happens. And I think you can give them items if you interact with them. You have to go up and say like, let's trade. And then you can hand them armor and you can hand them weapons. But even then, like, why not just have a very simple UI where it's like, equip your companion with this and they will use this weapon and they'll have this weapon as backup and you can give them this ammo instead of just like, yeah, trade them a bunch of random shit and hope they equip it. It's frustrating for that regard. And I also don't find any of the companions like super interesting. I'm only on main mission 10. I know a lot of the companions are from side stuff as well, from what I've encountered, but none of them are like super.
Baldur's Gate 3.
There's no Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, they ruined companions for me. They were just so well written and they fit so well into the world.
Yeah.
Like in this game, like you'll be talking to someone and then your companion will speak to them, but the person will rarely ever acknowledge they said something. It's just like it was just sort of shoved in there. Whereas in Baldur's Gate 3, they would have like said their name and talked to them and had like a side story. Bethesda NPCs are just nowhere near that level of like depth and richness and believability.
Yeah.
Sort of there to push the story along.
I agree 100%. They're very like just cookie cutter archetype type stuff. I would hope that changes. But Dan, I did notice, I was actually in your stream when you did this the other day. You took the like parent perk.
Yeah, the parent perk.
And that is like arguably one of the cooler things that I've seen the game do. Can you talk about exactly like what that means?
Yeah, like so when you start the game, you pick traits, and the traits can have negatives and positives. The one I took was you have parents, and you have to send them 2% of your income of your money every week to them. And then what happens is throughout the game, you'll get notes to tell them that you need to come home and they want to talk to you, or they'll like be in like the lodge, the main quest area. They'll just like be standing there and be talking to the NPCs and they will talk to them.
Yeah.
It's one of the most coolest like thing that they'll just show up. They'll like give you gifts, like stuff from your childhood will be like an item you can wear or use in the game. And they just have lots of things to say and they comment on your progress in the world. It's like there's some of the best written NPCs in the game, and they're just the voice actors are very good and they bring this believability to it.
Yeah.
I highly recommend if you want to have take it like the perk, the drain on money is very minimal, and then like the lore of talking to them is great.
Yeah.
And what's awesome is they take your character, however you design it, and they will make parents based on like the genes of your character you made. So they'll have a mom and a dad based on what you created your character to look like.
It's really cool. It's one of the
Yeah.
cooler things I've seen.
Wait, so you chose parents that you give money to, and you also pay a mortgage?
The other one
on your
is
character?
there's another trait where you start with a
That's
very
what I
nice
took.
house.
Did you took that as well, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have to pay $125,000 credit mortgage on it throughout the game to pay it off. So it's like a way to like start your story is that you're in super debt and you got to pay it off. This is what you're doing to pay it off.
Do you remember what planet your house was on?
Oh, I can't remember. It was
I wonder
some weird name.
I wonder if it starts I wonder if it's RNG what planet or if it's always the same planet.
Ooh, I don't know.
It starts with an N.
I was watching one of my buddies. He took it. He spent hours trying to find out where he lived. Couldn't figure out.
Yeah, the UI is again, it's a UI thing. It has a little designation, like a little.
It was like, I have a
signal,
house. I'm paying for this house. I forgot what planet it's on in game. Can't find it. Couldn't find his home.
Oh, Nasoy Does that make sense to you, Dan? Nisoy is the planet name.
I'm booting up the game. I'll find out in just a second.
Okay, yeah. Chat is saying Nisoy, so it seems like it's on everyone's house. It's a cool house. There's nothing in it. There's a little design button. Not necessarily indicative of.
You can furnish it.
You could furnish it completely, yeah, and it's actually quite a large house. There's 5 or 6 rooms in it, and you can fully furnish it. Not
Yeah, Nisoy.
Okay, it's the same as everyone. Only happened once, but I did last night. I did go up into the house and was like, "Can I put a mission board in my house so I don't have to go to a town to get a mission type deal?" And when I went up to like design the house, there's a little panel on the wall. It just crashed my game. That was the first and only hard crash I've ever had in the game.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And
Speaking of that, this is the most stable at launch Bethesda game that there's ever been. Like I haven't had one crash or lockup or main or quest preventing bug yet, and that's never happened. So this is like shows that they're doing something different to get the game out in a better state.
Yeah.
Not perfect, but it's better than they've ever done.
I would agree.
It's a very old school take, right? Because you gotta remember, there's a generation of gamers, and this is their first. So like when we're like, guys, it used to be so much worse. You have no idea. They actually have no idea.
It's true.
Like they genuinely don't know.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
That is. But
Oblivion was a goddamn shit show of locking up, crashing, glitching, and that was horrible. But the game was so much fun. I suffered through it.
I will say though, Strippin, they know what bad game launches are. Right?
Yeah.
They know, like they've experienced a bad game launch.
Yeah.
Whereas I think like Bethesda fans might be more forgiving from like if you're an old school Bethesda fan, and so that's why you saw so many reviews saying like it's and Dan as well, like it's the buggiest or the non-buggiest Bethesda game ever, which is a weird thing to say when you really think about it. It's true, like there's no lie detected at all, but that's like a tagline that can only be attached to a Bethesda game of like, yeah, it's not that buggy for once.
Bethesda games are like diamonds you find, but they're caked in mud, and you gotta get the mud off to enjoy the diamond.
Yeah, I would agree with that. A lot of people ask, like, and I'm sure you guys got this when you streamed it. What are your thoughts on the game? And the best, most succinct answer I can say is like, it's a Bethesda RPG. You either hate it or you like it, right? Like they didn't change the formula. There's no innovative aspects to it. It's a Bethesda RPG. That's it.
For some reason, a lot of people really struggle with the idea that like a game is not for them. Right? I think that's like the crux of it. It's like they can't accept that like this game isn't for them, and it's just like, man, there are millions of games out there, and they're just not all going to float your boat the same way.
It's true.
It's cool. It's okay.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
like,
that.
I don't like it, therefore you can't like it. It's
right.
Like,
I got to tell you why you don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Bethesda RPG like through and through. It's kind of my bottom line is if I find any complaints I have, it can just be boiled down to that.
I mean, from the sounds of things, if you feel like it's slow like I do, then
play something else.
Listen to other people and get through that story, and finally it picks up.
Yeah. I do want to mention, so there's a lot of conversation right now, and this was starting when reviews came out. One of the big embargoes that a lot of reviewers were given was that they couldn't say anything about New Game Plus. They couldn't talk about it. They couldn't say anything story-wise, why it's happening. I'd be very careful about reading chat during this discussion if you care at all about that. But alongside that, a lot of people were saying, you should probably do the main story first, which is completely unorthodox for a Bethesda game. Bethesda games, generally, you want to do everything else and then the main story. And now now the conversation is like, you want to do the main story, quote unquote, finish the game, and then do everything else. And that's where I've been kind of frustrated with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated in what that means because it sounds like from what the reviewers are hinting at is that the game really starts when you finish it. Like they finish the main story, that's when the game really begins. That's like the start of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I'm very curious. That's why I'm focusing on the main quest. But apparently, that's the moment that a lot of reviewers went from this game is okay to my God, I'm giving this a 9. Like there's something that happens. I don't know what it is yet that turns the whole thing around. Apparently,
Yeah.
Just that's kind of crazy because that's like a maybe a 30-hour commitment for
It's a
most.
if you
normal people.
mainline the story, it's 20 hours is what most people are doing.
Yeah, but they're not going to mainline this. They'll they'll look at the shit stuff and they'll do this
100%.
and they'll do this. So they're getting their 30 hours in, and then the game kind of becomes the game, and then you're like, whoa.
I know loosely mechanically what happens, and knowing that has actually hurt my interest in the game. And that's
Wow.
I'm like bothered, and I can't. I'm not going to say any more than that because it actually will get into like mechanical spoilers and kind of piece together stuff. But like, if I play more of this game, it will be only the main story, and I will finish the main story because of what I've read. So like I can 100% agree with the
what
advice.
you've been exposed to.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with the advice of like you should rush main story. If you're going to play this game a lot, you should rush main story.
It's just weird that they haven't said that. They haven't been like, "Hey, we recommend focusing on main story," or like they're just kind of like,
it's very weird. Well, and it's super counter to everything that you expect a Bethesda game to be.
Yeah.
like in all their games, they want you when you like you get out of that like the prison or the cave that you go and do whatever you want. But apparently, if you do that in this game, that's the wrong way to play. Wrong way to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I remember Diablo 4, right? And the Diablo 4 devs were like, the game opens up at endgame. Like push through to max level. That's when the game opens up. And they were like happy to encourage that. It just feels weird that if that's true about this game, why have they said nothing?
Yeah, I mean, Pete Hines was in.
You're going to have a lot of people that felt like they might have wasted their time. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like that could be the case.
Pete Hines definitely was out there saying before the game started to like, you're going to want. He didn't. I forget the exact words, but it was kind of along the lines of like, you should probably play the main story type deal because the game really begins when the main story ends. Is I think what he said.
Right.
But the marketing is not there whatsoever. Of like, yeah, push main story because I think there's a lot of gamers like myself who, whenever you finish the main story of a game, you're done with that game, right? Like you
as a content creator, right?
Well, as a content creator, and I think just as a person, once I see credits roll in a game, I'm done.
Yeah.
I have
like an online loot grinder game or something. Like, yeah, you're pretty much done.
Yeah. So I've been at odds with that. It was like I was very hesitant to know, but as soon as I saw someone say that idea that you want to push main story first, it was like Pandora's box always in the back of my mind of like,
yeah,
you could just fucking
why?
Google
why are people saying that?
Why are people saying that? Like, why don't you? And so then it was like non-story spoilers, but mechanically, what does that mean? Went and found out, and now I've screwed myself. Like, I've fucked
ignorance
my brain
was
up.
bliss.
Yeah,
Ignorance
it really was
bliss.
ignorance is bliss. Because if I play the game, I'm halfway through the main story. I know that. I looked up the mission list.
So your personal recommendation here for people that are getting the game, that's getting into it, they're about to hop into Starfield, is push main story hard.
It depends on the type of player that you are.
Okay.
For me, it's the idea, like I'm such a, I guess I would classify myself as a min-maxer in a lot of ways, which is dumb because it's a single player game, but I don't want to play the game poorly, if that makes sense. And so knowing what I know and like being a min-maxer, I want to finish the game now.
Okay.
But if you're the type of person that just wants to dive in and like fly around and go to a bunch of planets
space
and explore shit, then who cares? Like, play it your way. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And I don't think I can ask Dan the same question because you don't know, you haven't looked it up like I did to see what it is. And hopefully I haven't swayed you to look it up yourself. I know you're kind of
No.
focusing main story already, right?
Yeah, I'm focusing main story, and like I'm about halfway through the story. I just looked at the names of the quests and where I am, and I'm
Yeah.
about halfway through with the main story right now.
Yeah.
I've been
That's what I'm
enjoying
focusing
Dan's
on.
celebrity chef journey.
Yeah.
Been tuning in.
It's
Great.
the you got to play the game and like create a story for your character 100%. I'm playing as Wilbur Higgins, which is a old D&D character of mine, D&D-ish character. But yeah, you got to be a celebrity chef. You got to be a character of some sort. Really makes the experience a lot more fun.
Gives you a lot of like flavor for your playthrough.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? Is there any? I'm trying to think. What are some of the other aspects of the game that I'm not super keen on, or that I am keen on?
The cities are huge in this one. Like
Sure.
Whiterun had maybe 30 NPCs in it total. But in this game, there's like 30 NPCs in just one shop of these cities that are filled to the brim with. One thing they did very, very well is there's lots of NPCs that are just there to add story. You just go up to them, talk to them. They just tell you some stuff about the world, the game, what their background is. They don't have a quest or anything. They're just there to be there. Something that was missing in like Fallout 4 and Skyrim was background NPCs that like added to the lore and the feel and the story. I was in a city called Neon, which was very cool.
Yeah,
And
Neon's awesome.
yeah, very. It reminded me a lot of Cyberpunk. It just had a great feel to it. Lots of nice little quests. Some were contained in the city. Some were make you go out in other places. But there was just so much density in shops and NPCs and quests and factions, and it was very, very cool.
Yeah.
And it's amazing just how huge they are. How many like if you go to like an elevator, you'll see all these options that you haven't even gone to yet. It's staggering how big this game is, and trying to get through all of it is going to be one hell of an achievement.
Yeah, there is a lot of cities like Neon throughout the galaxy that I've encountered. Spaceports as well, not even like on planet stuff, but there's so many spaceports that you just happen upon that have tons of things going on. Whether there's no one in them, something's killed all of them, or it's fully populated and it becomes like a major trade hub or whatever. There's just a ton of aspects to it. I do agree with you that like the cities are very, very well done. Did you go to the dance club in Neon?
Yes.
I don't know where I found it. It wasn't on Neon. I want to say it was just in a random place like this. I found the dancer's outfit. That's what my character wears. So he just walks around in like a Richard Simmons leotard deal with like the little,
little spikes
plastic,
on the shoulders.
Yeah, the plastic Shazza cup little lightning thing on it from the 80s. He just walks around.
I haven't found Neon, but I've got the Neon gangster backstory. As my thing. So I took like Neon Gangster and Wanted.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the last one was, but
you don't have to take 3, which is also, you don't even have to take any of them for the perks, which is cool. I like that aspect. They don't like lock you into anything. But I am curious how that, did you get like options for that in dialogue Strippin? To like flash the idea that you're a gangster from Neon?
I've got that yet.
Okay.
So I maybe. Yeah.
I took my 3 were Wanted, The House, and then Alien something or other, where I was experimented on as a child with alien blood or something like that.
Oh wow!
Oh, I took that too. Yeah, that one. I took that one too.
Yeah. Alien DNA. Yeah, I've seen a couple.
Alien DNA, and I took Wanted and Neon Gangster.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of dialogue options where you can like have a conversation with some doctor and just be like, I've got alien DNA in my blood. What does that mean? They're like, I don't know. We could run some tests. I'm sure that like pushes down a story or a quest. One person offered to remove it. I don't know what that meant. They were like, we don't know what's going to happen if we do this. So I don't know if you
I hope there's some big payoff. Like there's some big payoff later with your alien thing.
Yeah.
That makes it worth it.
Yeah. Dan, I know because I watched your stream. Do we want to say anything about the character progression and the main story, or should we just not mention that? Because it is kind of spoilery. It was in some of the trailers.
Yeah, I would think like maybe put up a spoiler tag for that if you want to talk about that. Cause it's
We
kind
don't
of
have to. We can leave it alone.
Okay.
I'm okay with leaving it alone. It's not. There's other things, I guess. Let's say there's other things besides shooting in the game.
Yes.
And fighting in the game.
And during the presentation on the game, if you watched it, they definitely very clearly showed and hinted that there was something.
Yeah.
Besides shooting.
I didn't pay
My
attention that
fists
closely.
only know destruction, man.
Yeah. There's probably things that'll improve your fist technique in that thing. But yeah, I've interacted with some of that, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of like, oh yeah, sure, it's a Bethesda. Like I didn't know any of that was in there, and I kind of rolled my eyes when I found it. The process is always the same. Dan, I don't know if you've encountered that, but I kind of hate that.
It's pretty much they took something from one of their other games and repurposed it for this. Yeah. Very similar.
Very, very similar. We can leave it at that. It's okay. Yeah. It's fine. What else? Chad, is there anything else we need to talk about? Someone is saying the map system is like, kind of rough. Particularly like, the local map. Local map is absolute dog shit. It's just fucking abysmal.
All the previous games had, if you went into a dungeon, you open up the map, and the local map, you could see the whole dungeon as you explored it. But now there's a lot of them don't have anything. It's just blurry blue, and if there is something, it's just there's no map in a lot of that place. I don't know if it's because of the random generation or what, but it's disappointing that there's no map because I get lost in these places a lot of the time.
Yeah, same. They're very labyrinthian. Especially like the cave system. The cave systems are super huge and can be very sprawling, and you get constantly lost, turned around in them.
One thing I did notice, if you're in the bottom of a dungeon and you're not encumbered, you can teleport right back to your ship.
Yes, not encumbered is the big thing.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Good luck reaching the bottom of a dungeon and seeing what's happening here on screen, looting fucking pins. Dan, you have a problem.
This was the part where I needed everything because I needed money.
I was the same way, man.
The broke bitch runs.
Yeah.
You learn what to take and what not to take throughout the game. And beginning, you're taking everything. This is all the pins and folders, and eventually you learn what's valuable and what's not as you go. But
yeah,
this is my.
I don't forget. I watched Cohh first play, and he picked up everything, and he loaded up his companion, and then he tried to click fast travel, and it said can't fast travel encumbered, and I'll never forget his face, dude.
Yeah, always the same way.
His face.
Me and Dad both. It fucking sucks, man. The fucking
betrayed.
The inventory system is abysmal. We already
starts so low in this one. I don't know why only 100. It seems very low.
Yeah. So I reckon they could double, triple your starting weight, and it changes nothing about the game.
Yeah. Or I mean, you could just
hit. If someone made a mod that just doubled your carry weight, I would put it on immediately.
You can just hit, unless you care about Steam achievements, you can just hit tilde, and there's a command you can drop in to give you 5,000 weight, and then you don't ever have to worry about it. But at that point, it's like. I thought about it, but in my particular instance, I don't think there's a way to respec, and I've already put like 4 or 5 points into the weight training thing, so then those are wasted points. And I spent 180,000 credits making 2 different ships that were just 4 weight options. So I was like, well, then if I'm just gonna fucking put a console command, why the fuck did I spend all that time doing it?
I still like managing it. I just don't like how shit it is in this
game.
Yeah.
It's rough in that regard. Map system is jumping back to that though. Really bad. A lot of menus as well, just to do anything, to like go from planet to planet. You're definitely in menu hell. I got faster the more I interact with it, to where I can kind of do things a lot quicker now, but it's a little cumbersome when you first get into it. One thing I will say,
He's grabbing everything, man.
he's getting
Yeah,
everything.
I am emptying that place.
That's what it's
If it's
what
not
you
nailed
do, man.
down, dude, it's gone.
It's what
Yep.
look, Baldur's Gate 3 ruined people. Because in BG3 you could do this.
He's taking the styrofoam cups, man. They
You
don't
have
work.
never
to,
know,
man.
Scrap.
Those are like 3 credits. You gotta do it.
Could be a god of styrofoam cups later in the game. I don't know. You
Yeah.
gotta take it all.
Yeah, you have to.
Have you guys like explored more than one zone on the same planet?
What do you mean?
Like
More than one
I've gone
dungeon?
down to a planet. I've gone down to a planet, and it like gives you like them. It generates a little chunk for you, and then if you want to do a new chunk, you have to go back out and then go back down again, right? Or is that not how it works?
That's how it works. Like if you're not doing one of the predetermined spots on the planet, just
Yeah.
randomly generates a spot around you.
Okay, I just wondered how that worked
Mm.
because I think I've only explored like one chunk of each planet, and then I move on.
Yeah. I mean, some planets don't have that much stuff to explore. They have like 2 or 3 things, like an abandoned X, like research facility, mining facility. I've seen a couple of those. And I have encountered one repeat facility on 2 different planets. And that was kind of a bummer. Like it broke the immersion a little bit, where like it was the same. I knew the people in it. I knew the dungeon layout essentially. That's only happened once. I don't know how frequent that'll be, but that was kind of a bummer to see that.
Kind of reminds me of like there's like a deck of cards and it pulls out a card for like a dungeon and it puts it there.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that over time modders will make there be a bunch more cards so that way like you don't repeat stuff very often. They'll make their own custom ones.
100%. One thing I will say that Bethesda actually did iterate on, because a lot of the stuff they didn't, you've seen it if you played a Bethesda game. The lockpicking system in this game is fucking awesome. It's great. Yeah. I love the lockpicking system. It's super fun. It's like a well done iteration on the tried and true like thing that everyone stole for any other open world game of doing this and like trying not to break the lockpick. I don't know if I can't really like pull up footage of it, but it's essentially it's like a puzzle that they throw at you. And they're not super difficult. But it's very good. I really enjoy the puzzle system or the lockpicking system in this. When you first look at it, doesn't make much sense. You have to kind of sit there and figure it out. You have to realize that the circle grid lights up. I think if you, I don't know if it does it by default. I have some lockpicking. I have the lockpicking skill maxed out, and I think now that I have that, when I select one of the options for the puzzle, it lights up the ring blue.
Yeah, that's like the first or second rank of the perk.
Okay, yeah.
Without it, it's just all white the whole time.
Got it. That made it a lot easier because you can kind of just thumb through and it'll tell you which ones will actually fit, and so then it immediately like breaks that type of shit up, and makes it a lot simpler.
Sometimes a piece will fit and then like it's not the right one, and then you have to go back and undo it.
Yeah.
And the other mini game, though, like the old one, like it was hard to fail because it was just so easy. After a while, you get so used to it. But now this one is like it's a challenge every time, and the harder the lock, the more challenging the puzzle, which is great.
Yeah, I don't like the fact though that I can't. And someone in chat just pointed out, I didn't think about it. That this Arianoth says the downside is that you can't try to pick master locks and rely on luck. You need to waste perk points. That's 100% true. And I had not realized that till now. You can't actually attempt a master rank lock unless you have the trait to allow you to attempt it.
That's true.
Also, if you have the trait, it lights up blue and it kind of makes the puzzle easier. So if you wanted the challenge, you can't turn that off.
It makes it easier, but it's some of the master rank stuff is pretty difficult. Even with having the little like quote unquote UI cheat for it. But yeah, I love the lockpicking system. It sucks that wasting 5 points early in the game, especially when I'm level 20. I don't know if I can recommend that because I haven't gotten anything like important or incredible from those chests. which I think is kind of a Bethesda meme in a lot of ways, that there's nothing at the end of those chests. And so maybe that's on me and not on the game. But yeah, I don't know if it's super rewarding yet. Most of the stuff I found is like the contraband items, and that's it. Which system
I'm just
we
watching
haven't
Dan
discussed.
pack mule his companion.
You have to.
Loading her up.
You got to do it. Contraband items. Have you guys messed with that at all? I think it's a pretty cool system. It is a little formulaic once you actually realize what to do. But it's probably
I
the
have a
best way to
ton
make
on me,
money.
but I haven't realized what to do with it.
Okay. There's a specific place you need to go to sell it.
Yeah, I assumed that'd be
Actually-
like a fence or something.
I accidentally looted some drugs, and I didn't know what that yellow symbol meant. And then I loaded in system, and I was getting scanned. They were like, "You have illegal goods," and then I reloaded. I'm like, "I gotta get rid of these drugs." And I tried dropping on the ground, and that didn't work. They could scan it still.
Yeah.
I just had to use the drugs to get rid of them, and that was
You did.
just sat there and
The old celebrity chef high on the supply, dude,
Yeah.
trying to land.
no drugs anymore.
Oh man, that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I've always sold the contraband items, so I don't know how you pass that scan with the contraband items. I don't know if you have to have like a contraband box or if you have to have a hacking skill.
Like a lead lined compartment in your ship or something.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
like, hides
Because
what you put
there's
in
an
there.
achievement to do that, to like smuggle cargo like that. I just don't know how to do it.
There's like a pirate faction in the game, so maybe it's like a quest reward with them or something. Some sort of way to smuggle or something.
Yeah, maybe so.
I would become an illegal smuggler if that's a feature.
Yeah.
It
I'm
is.
gonna figure it out.
You can go down all of the paths in this game on one character, and it won't like slight you. It won't like lock you out of certain things. So
That's cool.
you can work for like the military, then work for the faction, the pirate faction, the paction, as it were, which is cool. Like I'm glad that that's a thing that exists. You can do everything like on one character. It's a different take for sure. What else was there? I'm looking at chat to see. Oh yeah, someone did bring up this fact. It randomly happened on me, and this is kind of rare to see in a Bethesda game, honestly, in a lot of games. I walked past a door that was like read out, and in the corners it said emergency door cut here. And I was like, surely this is not going to work. So I got my laser and I just cut the four corners of the door, and sure enough, it opened a random door. That small little thing was really cool when I first like discovered that. Enjoyed that aspect of it a lot. Also, the idea. What did you guys name your characters?
Dan.
Chaos.
Chaos with like a. Was it spelled
K-
weird?
KAYOSS. That's her name. Chaos.
I don't know if when you got into your ship, did they say your name?
No.
Did they say your name, Dan?
Yes.
Yeah. When I got into my ship the first time, it said like, "Good morning, Commander JP," and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, how did they how did they do that type deal? That's fucking cool." Because in the old games, you'd have to tell it. They had like a list, I think, is how it worked in Fallout 4, right?
Yeah, they probably have a list of names, right?
Yeah. There's an
list,
unofficial
was
list.
leaked, so you can like see the full list if you want to make sure your character's name will be said.
Yeah. You can name yourself
A
Cock.
couple funny ones there, like fuckface and stuff.
Yeah. Fuckface. There's, I think, Cock. So it'll be like, "Good morning, Commander Cock," that type of shit, if you really want to. And you can also go and you can redesign your character in game for like 500 credits or something like that. There's a vendor to go and do that if you don't like the way your character looks, or you want to rename your character or anything.
Wait, you have an adoring fan as well?
Yeah, that's the other trait I took. Was I was a celebrity chef that had a dream home, and paying my parents' bills, and then I also had an adoring fan for my show. That was like my character's background.
All the fun.
Adoring
bits.
fan is from Oblivion. If you ever played that game, when you finish the arena, you get an adoring fan and voice actor.
Yeah,
he does a great job.
Yeah.
Apparently, he has a storyline, but I haven't had him in my party much because I'm just had the main characters in my party so far. But apparently, he does have like a storyline and stuff that if you have him with you as you're playing,
does he like go on your ship and stuff?
Yeah, he's a crew member. You can put him on your ship, and also
okay.
he can follow you around like the other ones and comment.
Nice.
And you can
You
also
got to get him
shoot
out there, man. He deserves it.
You can shoot him, and he's like, "Oh my, ow! So strange. These bullets seem to have come from your direction, but surely that must be a mistake." And that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have Dan, I'm sure you've interacted with the character. I've got a companion that in order for them to come on the ship, they have to bring their kid.
Yeah.
Fuck that man. They never shut the fuck up. They're just always telling stories to what as soon as I'm done with the main quest.
I don't know why, but the companions, when you're on your ship, are just like, get on the walkie-talkie and start talking to each other over the intercom.
They're using like
what?
the intercom system to have a conversation.
What is happening?
Yeah, dude. You're like in a dogfight getting ready to die, and the kid's like, "Hey, Dad, why'd the chicken cross the road?"
We're about to die here. What are you doing?
Shut the fuck up.
It's really ridiculous.
Speaking of dogfighting, locking onto enemies and standing up are the same button. If you hold it
That's
down,
why
you
that
stand up.
happened to me.
Yeah, just you're under fire, but you're standing up very slowly. Getting at your seat.
Wait, in your ship?
Yeah. No, that's happened to me a couple times where it's mid dogfight, and then my character rolls out like he's fucking Doctor Evil.
He's like,
and
that's all.
It stands up while missiles are just killing us. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I get it. I understand. I think anything else. I'm still. Where are you at, Dan? Are you gonna rush main story? What's your plan now? Are you just gonna play the game as it is?
I'm playing through the main story, not rushing it, just trying to make it my primary quest. I'll do like little side stuff here and there, but
Okay.
mostly focusing to get through the main quest to find out what the hell New Game Plus means.
Yeah.
That's like a big mystery.
Sure. We'll see. I'm doing a Star sponsored stream today. I do want to keep playing, but if I keep playing, I want to focus main quest, and then we'll see. It might be the type of thing where I see credits roll, and it's like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. Again, very love-hate with the game. So
I personally I'm really enjoying the game. I'm just I like landing on planets. One feature that's in the game from Fallout 76 that I love is that if you take screenshots with photo mode, they turn into loading screens. So if you find a really beautiful planet or a really cool shot in space, I take pictures of those, and then they become the loading screens, and I love that. I did that in Fallout 76 where I just had all these awesome loading screens as I was exploring.
Yeah.
But I like the pacing. I like the story. It's keeping me interested. I knew ahead of time that it's going to be a Bethesda game. It's not going to be the greatest combat or the greatest everything, but it's going to be very Bethesda, whether you like it or not. That they have a certain feel to their games, and this nails that feeling of Fallout and Skyrim.
For what the combat's probably the best Bethesda has done, I would say. Combat is one of the high points for me. I don't think it's
good.
Bad.
AI is still just a little bit dumb, but not as nearly as dumb as they were in Fallout 4. They've learned a lot.
Yeah.
He's one glitch right there is he's sunken into the floor on the ship.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes him look smaller.
Yeah.
I've definitely had people load in torso stuck in the floor type deal. It's a thing. Strippin, you got to go back to it all. You got to play it off stream. Is the ship sailed?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. It's I'm saving it for one of those days where it's I don't know what I'm gonna play today. I think I'm gonna boot up and give it some more love. I think I need to put some more time into it to really figure out if I want to go all the way. The weird thing is, it's one of those games where it's if New Game Plus is where the it gets great. It's hard for a single player game to be motivated to keep playing when the story ends. I'm kind of the same as you, where it's kind of when I put the game down and I'm like, I did it.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I've heard the main story's not too long, so I can probably just blitz it.
It's a 20-hour-ish main story, yeah. So it's kind of lengthy as well. It's not just a rush it down 5-hour type deal.
The main quest is getting very good. It's probably one of their best main quests. Going along, it's getting better and better and more interesting.
I'll give it some more love on or off stream for sure.
Yeah. Cool. That is the Starfield talk. I'm sure it's not the last time we'll mention it. I'm sure Zeke and Cohh will play and we'll talk about it again in the future on future shows. Not as much the conversation around Starfield. Not as much as I thought. I thought the internet was gonna like explode. Maybe I've just been playing it so much and it is exploding. Have you guys like looked in the conversation at all?
It's bad.
Is it?
People? Yeah, every place that you can talk about the game, Steam discussions, Reddit. There's a group of people that love the game, a lot of people that are like mediocre to it, and then there's a big group of just people just tearing it apart. Well, people that love and the game are just playing it and having fun. They're not even there. So it's just these like these small group of people that are just being very loud in the forums about the game.
All I've seen is like this group of negative people being super loud, and then all the discourse I'm seeing on Starfield is everyone else just dunking on that person. And like the game is like not even a factor anymore. It's just like this discourse of like a guy getting angry because he had to pick pronouns at the start of the game, and then everyone else going, that guy's a loser, and then that's it. But so I'm seeing a lot of people talk about Starfield, but I'm not actually seeing a lot of Starfield in the discussion of Starfield.
Got it. Okay.
It's more just like general gamer discourse.
The game's not
I think
fully
a lot
out
of people
yet.
are just waiting for the 6, to play it because they don't want to pay the extra money.
Yeah. Funny enough, though, right now they just hit all-time peak on Steam. 243,000 people playing. And because it's Steam, that means that 243,000 people spent $100 to play the game. So,
on just the early access.
That's early access.
That's true, actually. Yeah. But damn,
it's kind of successful. Well, I don't have an eye. Where's my eye? It's gone away. Oh, it's being green screened. I think that's what's happening.
Oh God, like a pirate, space pirate.
Yeah. So that's a thing that's happening. It's doing well. And then I'm sure Game Pass and everything will skyrocket the.
The number of players. I always feel like Bethesda games are more console leaning anyway.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would agree. What else has been going on? Final Fantasy XVI last night. Yoshida was at PAX, I think, and said that it's getting 2 DLCs. 2 paid DLCs are being developed, and they hope to share more info before the end of the year. I also saw on the topic of
I'm pretty sure one of them is going to be a 14 related DLC because he said in a previous talk that he was going to do a 16 thing on 14 and then he was going to take it back the other way. So I don't know what that would be, but
okay. Curious. I also saw the conversation that Square was not happy with sales on 16, which not really a shocker, given that it was PS5 exclusive at the moment and they're not on other platforms. But also, when is Square ever happy with sales? Apart from 14, they're not. Like Tomb Raider was, I think, a failure financially for them, is what they came out and said. So
it's really hard to be upset with sales when it's like a exclusive on the least popular console.
Yeah.
And then you're like, man, it didn't sell very well.
Yeah, shocker.
Huh?
Shocker. Would have thought, man.
For sure. So that's where 16's at. I will definitely play those DLCs. Did we all finish the 16? I think we all did, right?
I'm gonna finish it soon. Chat.
Oh, that's right. You didn't go and finish it. I remember that. You're like 5 or 6 hours from the end.
Yeah, I'm one stream away. But the more they ask, the less I want to give it to them. So now we're in a game of cat and mouse.
Got it. Okay. Noted. Dan, did you enjoy it? I think everyone enjoyed it, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't
like the greatest thing.
I enjoyed it while I was playing it, and then when I was done with it, I'm like, I don't regret it, but I don't think I'll play it again anytime soon because I feel like it was a good one-time experience.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I need to go back and do it again.
I think that's a very apt way of putting it, for sure. What else is in the news? Strippin, you're the resident Dota player amongst the three of us. I guess maybe me as well.
Why would you say that? That's completely false.
You've played some Dota in the
you,
past
and you're in
6
denial.
months. No, you've played Dota in the past 6 months. I'm the league player
played
because
once
my wife
for my
works for
friend's
Riot Strip.
birthday.
Anyways, they're banning Smurfs. They banned 90,000 Smurf accounts.
Yeah, man, 3 years too late. Good job though.
The blue people?
Yeah, no Smurfs are allowed to play.
How to play?
Yeah.
Wow.
They can't get in
They're
there.
not allowed, dude.
Yeah, they had a news post and everything about it. Here, I'll show you the.
It's the biggest problem with Dota. Every time I've tried to get into the game, I play like one game because it's like, we forgot what rank you are. And then the second game, it's like the entire enemy team is like guys that are sick of their sweaty elo and they punch down. And it's like, there are just smurfs in every game. You get rolled by guys that go like 20 kills, no deaths, because it makes them feel good. And it makes everyone else feel terrible. And the game's free. So there's no end to the amount of smurfs you can make. You just have to make a Steam account. And then that's it. You have another smurf. So it's a really big problem.
I think this is fucking awesome. Like, I wish other people, other companies, Riot, would do this. For those not aware, and you think Smurf are blue people, like Dan, Smurfs, they say it here in the article. Smurf accounts are alternate accounts used by players to avoid playing at the correct MMR, to abandon games, to cheat, to grief, or to otherwise be toxic without consequence. They go on further and say, additionally, we have traced every single one of these Smurf accounts back to its main account. Going forward, a main account found associated with a Smurf account could result in a wide range of punishments, from temporary adjustments to behavior scores to permanent account bans. That is great. I wish other companies would do this shit, because especially in a free-to-play game, one of the biggest issues in like competitive play is the fact that you could just make a new account, and there's no penalty for it. And you
every company walks the fine line of people want to play ranked. And then sometimes they want to play ranked with their friends, but they're not the same rank.
Yeah.
Right? And that's like not a fixable situation. It's like, don't play ranked is the solution. Go play a casual game together. But like the way people try and get around that is the good player will make a smurf and they'll queue up with their friend and they'll play ranked. But the problem with that is the other 8 people in the lobby are suffering because one guy is way too good.
Yeah.
So
it's also, I mean, if anything, this will probably spike smurfing, right? Because they're putting a spotlight on it, and so now a large majority of the player base will be like, well, actually, I'm gonna go against them and prove that you can still smurf. So hopefully they double down on this thing. And I will also say, like, as a company, that the goal of companies is to make money. This is completely adverse to that goal, right? Like when people have second accounts, they're more prone to buy things. If you're playing the game on another account, you want your character to look cool, or you want to play a different character. Granted, all the characters are free in Dota. You'll spend money. It's probably why we'll never see this in something like League of Legends, because a large majority of their funds annually is probably from people on second and third accounts buying a character or buying a skin for that character type deal. But I hope they do. I think it would be awesome.
It would be really awesome. It's just a lot harder with their monetization model to punish people.
Yeah,
I think
exactly. Yeah, and Riot, has people they're not privately owned like Valve.
Yeah,
right? So it makes sense. But a good step forward coming out of them. What else do we have? Oh, PlayStation Plus has increased their prices on September 6th. This is fucking crazy.
It's insane.
For a 12-month subscription for the baseline sub, it is now $79.99 USD, or 72 euro, 56 GBP, or 6,800 yen. Is that a $30 uptick? I think.
Yep.
Surely we get more stuff, right? Like
same exact shit.
Oh.
I canceled. I was like, I don't fucking even use this right now. Why am I gonna pay $30 annually? Or 20 more dollars annually on this? It's crazy. I don't know if Sony's getting back into their like attitude era where they're just like based throwing it around, but holy shit, that's wild. I would be shocked to not see massive amounts of cancellations. There's people in my chat right now that are like, I'm gonna go cancel right now. That's absurd.
The move in the opposite direction of Game Pass, the one thing that is like competing with you across the board, to decide like we're gonna actually make that more appealing to gamers,
Yeah,
is crazy to me.
absolutely.
To push people
crazy.
away from your product towards Game Pass. That's what they've done.
Yeah, without question. So wild that they have done that. There's so much conversation around this. People are definitely not happy about it. I think it was like one of the biggest. Wasn't as big as like the Starfield review thread, at least on Reddit, but people are very up in arms about it, as they should be. That's a crazy price hike for, like Dan said, the exact same thing. There's no benefits to this. It's just a price hike. It's too much. It's way too much for what they're offering there. What else? Volition shutting down.
RIP.
They were the studio behind Saints Row, and they are closing immediately via a post. Was it on LinkedIn where it initially showed up? Yeah, kind of wild. I didn't play too much of Saints Row because it didn't look great, but I don't think a lot of people
was like it was a giga flop.
Yeah,
It ruined them. I think it ruined them.
It did. Yeah. Looks like we've lost Dan, so it's just me and you, Strippin. We're holding down the fort. But this is what they said right here. The Volition team has proudly created world-class entertainment for fans around the globe for 30 years. We've been driven by a passion for our community and always worked to deliver joy, surprise, and delight. This past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in the video game industry. As part of that program, they evaluated strategic and operational goals and made the difficult decision to close Volition effective immediately. To help our team, we are working to provide job assistance and help smooth the transition for our Volition family members. We thank our customers and fans around the world for all the love and support over the years. You will always be in our hearts. That's it. They're done. That's not Volition's writing. That's Embracer. Probably.
I mean, it just sounds like Embracer have cannibalized the studio and moved it to because I mean they have so many, don't they? They have Gearbox, they have THQ Nordic, they have Saber Interactive. I think they even have like some Square Enix subsidiaries.
Well, they got Crystal Dynamics. I think they bought them, right?
Crystal Dynamics, Coffee Stain Studios. They have a lot. So it's like they've just looked at it and been like, this one is only red, and we're just gonna get rid of it.
Or wait, no, is it Eidos or is it Crystal Dynamics?
It's Crystal Dynamics, yeah.
Yeah. It's not good. Welcome back, Dan. It's not a good situation whatsoever. But
yeah. Saints Row was one of my favorite franchises, and the newest game it lacked pretty much everything that made Saints Row. It just did not feel like it felt like a different game. It lacked the humor, it lacked the gameplay, it lacked the environment. It just was hollow, and it didn't feel like Volition at all. I don't know what happened, but I'm not surprised it didn't do well. It sucks that they're shutting down completely, but it was such a shame that because Saints Row 2 and 3 were just really, really fun games. I enjoyed those to death, even though they're very different from each other.
Yeah, it was like it was a game that never took itself too seriously, and bathed in the absurdity, and it was so fun for that aspect of it. And the most recent one, they tried to make it like kind of grounded, but also still have the absurdity. And it missed the mark completely. Yeah. It's not there. It was not funny. It was just, it just completely missed. Yeah, cringe. I don't use the word cringe a lot. It was kind of cringe. I think that's an apt way to describe the most recent Saints Rows in terms of like the theme of it. Definitely nowhere near, like Dan was saying, the Saints Row of old. So where you have the opening scene and it's got like major pop titles playing of while you're like
one of my favorite
down.
gaming moments of all time is Saints Row 2. I played with Sips and we made our characters separately and we like didn't tell each other what we were making. And then when we came out for like the presidency carpet and you see each other the first time, we were identical down to the tattoos in the places on our bodies. And it was like one of the funniest game moments I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I just remember it so fondly. And those games were so much fun. But yeah,
they're fun.
They just kind of lost their way.
Yeah.
Sure.
Without question. Baldur's Gate 3 pushed out patch 2 already. They incorporated like a new Karlach epilogue. I don't know the specifics around that. There's also a bunch of performance improvements, tweaks, changes, and just a bunch of updates. I heard they nerfed my boys, the ghouls. That apparently got nerfed.
Rightly so.
So that
shit was busted.
Yeah, apparently they're not great. And yeah, then they added I think like Wither's wardrobe, so you can like stuff dead bodies in there or something in your camp, or bodies of co-op people or something like that. Yeah.
So before, when you played co-op, you couldn't ever have any of your companions in your party.
Oh.
Like dialogue, or if you wanted to explore their stories, if there was 4 custom characters, you were locked in. And they've changed it now so that you can actually leave a custom character at camp and bring along. So if one of your friends can't play for a session, you can just put their character in the camp. You can bring along an AI that would have some cool dialogue, yada yada yada. So it's a nice change, like quality of life for co-op.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Game keeps crushing. I'm actually curious where it's at on player base right now.
I couldn't steal any underwear from any of the NPCs because we had 4 custom players.
The horror.
Now I can.
Unbelievable. How did you live?
I don't know, man. It was rough out here.
Jeez, it's still 560,000 people playing right now.
Damn.
That's crazy, man.
Double Starfield.
Yeah. I guess the game is so long that's gonna last a while, right? If people can only play on the weekends. And it just that's right, it just dropped on PS5. Well, early access is out right now on PS5. I think that launches.
And they've still got Xbox, right? To come?
Sometime later this year. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
glad
to see them.
Also, Larian, they go on sale a lot. They're not afraid to put their games on sale too. So I'm sure that there'll be some big waves of player base.
Yeah, the future is definitely bright for them. I think that PS5 version of the game, the excitement level that I have seen from like the console player base is very palpable. Which I did not anticipate that to be.
I mean, there's nothing like that on PS5. PS5 is still kind of starved for games.
Yeah,
so it's kind of huge.
How it would be wild to me, and we'll probably never know because I don't think there's any way to find the numbers unless they report them themselves. But like, what if Baldur's Gate 3 outsells like Starfield's on PS5, right?
No,
it's not at all.
Xbox and PC only for Starfield.
So what if it
right now?
What if like it somehow? What if Baldur's Gate does better than Starfield on consoles?
It might trigger a reset in the publishers about how they approach these games. Like if this game just sells so much, because that's what they respond to more than anything. These executives
numbers,
sales numbers.
Yeah.
Like if the sales numbers are crazy, like we might see some really good RPGs come back. Like I would love to see Dragon Age rebooted or another Dragon Age game and have it be like on the level of Baldur's Gate, where they have that like depth to it. I hope this triggers like changes. It'll take a long time, but like ripples through the community to like show that there's a market for this. They're hungry for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so too. The days of old will be back.
it's really wild to think, along with coupled with this news of which we're about to dive into about SAG-AFTRA having their board voting unanimously to send interactive media video games strike authorization, which is now going to members to vote. I don't think they've voted yet, but it really makes me wonder, like, if there will be a complete, not complete, but if like Baldur's Gate 3 is going to have enough of a like reverb throughout the industry to where everyone looks at the writing and the dialogue and it's like, fuck, we got some work to do. Right? Like because it really shines so brightly compared, especially up against something like Starfield. I'm sorry, but like,
yeah, I mean, they
so
talked
much
about it,
better.
and one of the reasons it's so good is they basically, when they got the voice actors in the studio to do their lines, they would mocap them.
Yeah.
So they would put them in full mocap, and that way, every time they spoke, they would record their physical mannerisms to go with what they were saying, and so it like makes it just feel so much more lifelike. And like that's just like at a level of attention to detail and expense that like other companies aren't willing to commit to.
Sure.
And so hopefully that is like people are like, well, hang on a minute, you know.
Yeah.
Like in Starfield, like the lip sync is really good, but the rest of the body just so stiff. They just
It's
sort of
kind of
stand there.
scary.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
scary because they do this.
It's what's the term? Uncanny Valley.
Yes.
Uncanny
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah. They never, and
There's
then
the emotions in the voice, but there's
it's even
nothing else.
Yeah.
It's even weirder when a
Yeah.
third person joins the conversation because they don't turn. It's just the
Yeah.
Bethesda thing of just, how are you doing, third person? I'm doing fine. How are you doing, original person? Well, let me choose a dialogue. That's great. Thank you for joining the conversation. It's very awkward. It's very
Voice acting's not bad. It's
No.
good. It's just
Yeah.
it loses some of its value when it's on adult.
Yeah, I agree.
Mannerisms can be a big part of a performance, and in Baldur's
Mm.
Gate, you see all the mannerisms that they're doing, whereas in Starfield, you get almost none of it.
Yeah. The SAG-AFTRA National Board have members. It says that it sent a strike for the authorization vote to SAG-AFTRA members in preparation of the union's forthcoming bargaining dates with the signatory video game companies, which include Activision, Blindlight LLC. I don't know who that is. Disney Character Voices, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Formosa, Insomniac, Take-Two, VoiceWork, and WB. So that's a pretty large swath of games.
And EA. I think EA are in there as well.
Yeah, EA, yeah. I mean, it's good. Those are some massive companies within the game industry that, if they do decide to strike, that's not going to be good.
A lot of people talk about Spider-Man 2, right? Because it's in the middle of dev right now.
Yeah,
and it's probably going to get affected.
Yeah,
they're really worried about AI trying to replace voice actors, writers, and artists, and it's like a big fear that they're going to try to cut costs by using those.
Yep. We will see. I'm sure that's going to get authorized probably over the next week, and just continues to, put a spotlight on all that stuff. I haven't been following it too closely in terms of the strike, but I don't think they're any closer than they were a month ago to finding solution. So
I think the last thing was Cohh saying they were going to just starve them out of income, right, until they gave up.
Yeah, which I don't think is happening because they're getting so much support, both from just the public and also people, SAG-AFTRA members who have billions, quite literally, are throwing money into that fund. So I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. We will see. Dragon's Dogma 2 is joining the Capcom lineup at TGS 2023. Capcom is announced. I keep forgetting that TGS is happening. That's going to be on September 21st is when they're going to be sharing, or around that time. Capcom specifically will be sharing more information around there. Strippin, I'm throwing this to you as our, I think we all have played a decent amount of Monster Hunter, but if they announce a new Monster Hunter, does that get announced at a TGS?
I think so. Teased anyway. Yeah.
Teased and then full shown at Game Awards, you think?
Yeah. I got my fingers crossed. but I don't know. I feel like they get it because Dragon's Dogma is so highly anticipated, and there's a lot of audience crossover. I think they're going to take the opportunity to just not say anything and just keep working on what we all assume to be Monster Hunter World 2.
Yeah.
Is what we're pretty sure they're working on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I hope
Fingers crossed. They're definitely working on some. I know for a fact they're working on something. We just don't know what it is, but everyone's assuming that it's going to be Monster Hunter World, but using that cool new Capcom engine that they've been crushing with. I've been really happy with everything they've been doing the last couple of years. I think they're one of my favorite developers right now.
Yeah.
Capcom have such a redemption arc. In the early 2000s, they were
really
doing real shitty stuff and making some shitty games, and they have turned it around. They're like one of the leaders now.
Yeah.
And Monster Hunter World was one of my favorite gaming experiences. It was just such a joy to play and to learn it and to experience it, and I just can't wait for another mainline game like that. I like the new one. Rise was fun. I just didn't like it as much as World.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think World introduced the whole new wave of people to Monster Hunter as a whole, and like the one that came after was very much like a thumbs up to the older players who you know, that kind of art style and like level of difficulty was like what they were into. And I'm hoping they go back now and they look at like this more mainstream, like Monster Hunter World 2, new engine. I'm really excited for eventually when we get some news, but I know they're done now with Rise updates. So like the next thing we hear will be the other thing they're kind of pushing. Yeah, the other thing they're kind of pushing right now is the Pokemon Go thing, the Monster Hunter Go.
Oh yeah,
if you guys have seen this,
the mobile one.
Yeah, they're doing like a Niantic teaming up with Monster Hunter to make a Pokemon Go game that is Monster Hunter Go.
Huh.
So that's we don't know a lot about it, but that's like I think like the next Monster Hunter thing.
Okay.
It's like a couple of weeks away, 2 weeks or so. I think they're coming out with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for the Monster Hunter Go, you mean? Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Chat telling me I saw this. I don't remember. I see a lot of things. I don't recall.
The problem with these long game shows is like there's so many games and names that like by the time you get to the end, you forgot half of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be amazing.
Yeah, first game was so fun. Whether you played it, well, I guess you couldn't co-op it, but you could bring friends, pawns along, and that was always fun. But just the base game itself, going back, I did a playthrough of that 2 years ago, a year ago, and it was like fully modded, and I had an absolute blast with it. Super fun to play if you've never played it. It's worth it.
That game is like over 10 years old, and it still has like arguably the best magic system in any game ever.
God, yeah, it does. Yeah.
I mean, Baldur's Gate kind of came up and said, "Give me some room," but I still think it's definitely a contender.
Yeah, but the like power spike or the I don't know, just the feeling of like charging up a spell and then seeing a giant fucking tornado,
an actual tornado,
or
just
like
come out
a
of the
meteor
sky.
or something dropped down. I was like,
dude, it was so good.
That's fucking cool.
It was great.
And then you could like combine the two, and like it's awesome. Like that, you don't get that level of like character power that often in video games. And they did a great job with that.
One of my favorite parts of that game was like you're in the dark fighting wolves, and they're like, "They're weak to fire," and they hunted packs arisen, like over and over again.
How did they make dialogue from the party members that didn't get annoying? Because they said it non-fucking stop. They never stopped saying that shit. And every time it did, it would just like make me laugh. Or I wasn't ever just screaming, "Shut up."
For me, it'd be like, "They're weak to fire," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, they are." Fire. Like it was like, thanks.
Yeah. I guess that's true. It's one of the few games where I actually welcome that. Dana, you're probably the most clued into this. Where the hell did this Bloodlines 2 trailer come from last night?
Out of nowhere. This game was supposed to release like I think early this year or late last year, and then it just sort of died last second. Just it disappeared. They're like, it's on pause. We're like canceling it. or like putting it on like hold, and then nothing came out about it for a long time. Then all of a sudden, yesterday, there's like, here's a trailer. It's coming out soon. Like, what? How did that happen? But the trailer looks amazing. Like, it looks
The
stunning.
focus was on Blood Hunt, right? They focused on Blood Hunt for a while, for a couple of months. So like bought them some time.
Yeah.
And now I think Blood Hunt is shutting down now.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're shutting the servers down on that one.
Ooh. Not enough players.
So it's
rough.
Great time to announce a new one, though.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people had expected this was dead, right? Because there were so many controversies around the developers and all that.
Yeah,
it's just like a mess.
I think at one point they said they remade the entire game, and you know, they had layoffs and all kinds of stuff.
So this is what else has the Chinese room developed? Who are the devs? Like, what else have they done, chat? Because I don't know much about them. I just know they're making it.
Dear Esther.
And
that was a good one.
Amnesia Machine for Pigs.
Okay.
That was okay.
Still Wakes the Deep. Everybody's gone to the Rapture. So Let Us Melt and Little Orpheus are the games that they've made.
Okay. All right. So not that much
a lot of
combat.
walk simulators in that one.
Yeah.
Not a lot of combat.
Yeah.
Games. We'll see. We'll see what that looks like. I think that's it, chat. Did we miss any big news? I do want to talk to the two of them about video games in our remaining 40 minutes. I don't know. There was a Super Mario Bros. Wonder Direct. Dan, did you watch that?
No.
Okay. I've not seen it. They put out 14 minutes of gameplay of that. The Direct came out Thursday morning or maybe Wednesday morning. But the response to it was pretty positive. BioWare getting cannibalized. We talked about the BioWare layoffs last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably it. I think we're supposed to get something from Atlas at Tokyo Game Show. I saw some bits of that. I would love Persona 6 news if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan, I know you saw there were rumors that people were being shown. What was that about the Nintendo stuff?
There's a lot of rumors that that Nintendo was at Gamescom and they were having very secret behind door meetings showing press the next Switch behind closed doors, like giving them a preview of what to expect, and that's all we know. It's very hush hush, and lots of rumors that it's going to come out next year sometime.
Yeah. Hope so. Just for the sake of new hardware.
Yeah.
And I hope there's some sense of cross compatibility. Like the software still runs on it. Hopefully we're not in that era anymore where none of the software works. I hope it just is like a graphical update to all their old
hardware. Just like
software.
It plays all the old games, but it plays them higher frames and higher resolution.
Yeah.
Just pop them in, it just works.
Yeah, just works. I hope so. This was the other big, one of the big trailers from the week. Capcom put out a trailer for A.K.I. Strippin. I watched you grind Street Fighter for 10 hours the other day. Trying to get into.
She looks so cool.
The diamond.
She
yeah,
so cool.
I haven't seen this yet. How are you feeling about the character? And then I guess Street Fighter as well.
So my last Street Fighter, I lost 1,000 LP in a ranked climb off stream. I went on like a 27 loss streak, rage quit the game, and then messaged Justin Wong for coaching. So that was like in that exact
And when
order.
was this?
This was like 3 days ago.
Oh,
and I haven't played since.
I didn't realize you dropped 1,000. I was there when you hit diamond or whatever.
Yeah, and then I tried to play off stream and I went back down again. So it was bad. But this character's great. There's a character in Street Fighter V called Feng, and he's like a poison guy, and he was terrible. He was abysmal.
Yeah.
And this almost looks like she's his disciple. She does like the poisoning stuff, but she's like got like the snake stance, kung fu, and looks really agile. She looks really cool. Street Fighter 6, like the character designs have all just been flawless. Like they're so good. So I'm really excited. for the new characters they put out, and like all the old characters too. They've like reimagined their kit, and they all feel unique. They've done a really good job, so I'm excited.
Her second
But,
outfit looks better than her first one.
Yeah, I think it looks great. Her hair is really stupid, but
It's kind of
okay.
Guile-esque.
Well, they're going for that unique silhouette, right, with every character, so that everyone has like that identifiable silhouette, and hers is just like a mushroom head, which is fine. But yeah, she's
She's
creepy.
She's a little creepy. Yeah, what the fuck?
Very creepy. Yeah,
Very
unfixable,
snake-like.
you could say.
Yeah,
Unfixable. You can't fix her. But yeah,
I've
I've been having a great time with it.
Oh, I was gonna say I love that meme has gotten so popular that Capcom in their Street Fighter official tweet included like, "You can't fix her; she'll fix you."
Yeah,
like that was the official marketing around the character.
yeah. It's great.
I love
they're
that.
not taking it too seriously. But
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying Street Fighter as like my first like real in brackets, because I don't really consider Smash a fighting game, but this is my first real fighting game.
Guys, that was me and Dan are that was all.
I've won
stripping.
tournaments. I've won tournaments in Smash, and I've won tournaments in For Honor, and neither of them are fighting games. Okay, they're just not.
Well, the For Honor one I could understand, but the Smash thing, you're on your own there.
For Honor is more a fighting game than Smash.
Okay, bro. Let's just you're Jesus.
Anyways,
Smash
Smash is a party game. That's all I'll say about that. But
boy.
Street Fighter, I'm really enjoying it a lot. I would recommend, if people are like, if you're kind of on the fence, I would say get into it now. The one issue I'm having is I'm at the level where people who are in Masters rank, like the best players,
Yeah.
they get bored and they're like, I'm going to level a new character. But they have all these great fundamentals. And so what happens is they level a new character and they fall straight into Diamond 1, which is the rank I'm in. And so I'm just getting my ass beat by all these like really good players that are just on a second character, and they're just whooping me over and over again. And I'm struggling to breathe, and I'm trying to cling to my diamond rank, and I'm just not good enough to get through the wall of smurfs. So they need to take a leaf out of Dota's book and ban these kids.
There you go. There you go.
I need to get coached by the god himself, J1.
That's true.
I'm gonna go for the second option because that results in me being better at the game.
Yeah. I still can't believe it makes sense given who Justin Wong is, but I can't believe that he got masters on every character in the game in like 2 weeks.
He got masters by queuing random, which is like every game he just gets a different random character and he doesn't know what he's getting till the match starts.
Yeah.
And he just still got masters.
Great.
It's kind of a sick joke.
He's too good at it. It's crazy.
If he can't help me, no one can. Here's basically where I'm at.
Here's the
I'm
thing,
unhelpable.
I saw him tweeting with Sonic Fox about this. They might be good at fighting games, Strippin, but they're dog shit at every other game that they play. And they both admitted it.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a pretty good trade-off. Like you and me, we're going to suck at fighting games, but we're going to be like kind of okay at other games.
No, we're not. We're just average.
We can be like kind of okay.
We're the average Joes.
Yeah, but we could be like kind of okay, Strippin, you know? We could.
But we would be better at every other game than Sonic.
That's right, Strippin. There you go. That's the way to think about
it. And so we can take that to the grave and no one will care because Sonic Fox wins Evo.
Exactly. That's right.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, I'm excited for Aki. She looks great. After her is
when is Akuma?
God, who is Akuma? Is 2 characters, not after her, but the one after that. I think.
Oh, so a long time.
Yeah, it's next is Ed, which nobody wants, and I don't know why they're putting.
Who the fuck is Ed?
And then Akuma. Ed is like, God, he's like a boxer, kind of. And then there's Akuma. And everyone's like insanely excited for Akuma.
Yeah, Akuma.
Not so much
dope.
Ed.
Yeah.
Ed is like Balrog's understudy.
Oh.
So like they're taking a lot of like the old characters, instead of putting them in, they're putting in like, like their new, like Lily, right? Is like a kind of a descendant of
T-Hawk, yeah.
T-Hawk. And yeah. So like they're kind of like taking that approach, and it's like Egg is Balrog's student, and they've probably reimagined him a little bit to be cool, and it's whatever, but the Odyssey, I mean, I'm of the mindset of the longer it takes for Akuma to come out, the better, because when he comes out, he will be disgustingly broken, and that's when it's over for everyone who hasn't learned to play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the longer it takes for Akuma to be released, the better for everyone else, because it gives everyone a chance to like learn the game before the Destroyer of Worlds is released, and all the pro players pick up Akuma.
Akuma, yeah. Who is it? Was it Tokido used to play a lot of Akuma and was just like a god? Is that who it was?
Yeah, but JP, imagine a modern Akuma.
True. Yeah.
So you don't even need inputs anymore. You're
Yeah.
just Akuma with modern controls. That sounds like the worst thing in the world.
I'm for it. I'm for it. What, dude?
Yeah.
What? Oh, I'm only for it because I know that you'll be grinding when it happens, and I'll watch you fight the modern Akuma, and I'll just be sitting there typing classic in chat. So happy that I'm not raging right now playing that game.
The smoking duck.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
so great.
Fucking watching you going up against like modern
Tokido in the
Zangief.
hand. They're literally. I think the reason they're taking so long to release Akuma is just so that Tokido has to wait.
Probably.
Because once he gets it, it's over.
It's over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Modern Zangief and you is some of the, because I get upset when I see that grab from literally across the screen.
From like this far away. Yeah.
And he just grabs it and you're like, well, that's fucking fair. It's so stupid.
Fighting games has been like my greatest test of anger management. And it's like,
That's what League was
I have
for
to
me.
like,
Yeah.
and I have to stop playing and be like, how did I feel throughout this? And how do I feel at the end? And sometimes I'm good and sometimes I'm not okay at all. And so I'm trying to work on myself so that I am better at the end of a playing session.
Sure. Yeah, I've done that with
So,
League. It's therapy. It's therapy. Dan, you played some Under the Waves. I'm actually very curious about this game because I saw some gameplay of it. It looks fucking awesome.
It like came out of nowhere. It just like dropped, and it was like from a studio that this was their first game. And at the beginning, it's kind of like Subnautica, but without base building, and it's kind of linear. It's not really a sandbox. You play as a diver he has to live under the water to help fix leaks and stuff with like oil drills and stuff that are down there. And then like this guy in the talkie is giving you missions and stuff to do. And you go around, you explore, you get loot, you do some light crafting, like weapons. Like there's no weapons in the game. No weapons at all.
Is there any fighting at all?
No fighting. The only thing you do is you hold a flare to like hold stuff back during a couple parts.
Okay.
But there's no like actual combat or fighting with the tank or yourself. And nothing can harm you except you run out of air, which on the left side of the screen. And some things will only one creature in the game can actually harm you, and that all it does is drain your oxygen.
Got it. Okay.
Now it starts out very lighthearted, and the voice acting in this game is amazing. The story also, it's very, very heavy. It deals a lot with death and loss. So it's a game that'll make you very sad. It'll make you think about people that have died, because the main character is going through a death himself. He lost someone he loved, and he's about dealing with grief. There's a little bit of like, weird stuff going on, some mysteries under the water, a little bit of Lovecraft, but overall it's a very emotional game that tells a really good but very powerful story. So be prepared before you play. It's not a happy game. It doesn't stay happy. It gets very intense, but it's very good. I was very glad I played it because the voice acting and the actors really nail it, and it makes you feel really good. I came out of nowhere. It's really cheap. It's only like actually it's $30, but it's like a good
Not a 50 or $70 game at least.
Yeah, it's like a 15-hour game, and it's like really good. The 15 hours. It doesn't overstay its welcome. The acting is good. The graphics are good. The gameplay loop is fun. But yeah, very emotional story. So be prepared for that when you're going in.
I saw in a lot of because I saw it because you started to stream it, and then there was a couple other sponsored streams that I checked out. So I was curious about reviews. A lot of the reviews were saying that it's like super heavy-handed in like climate change and like that topic, and they said it was like way too heavy-handed. Did you get that at all, or is that on the?
Well, I mean, you're dealing with oil drilling underwater, so there's like, of course,
okay, sure.
yeah, like there's oil that spills and stuff, and there's like oil's bad and we're polluting the planet. Like a little bit of that, but it was not really about that. It's more about like your character and why they are under the water in the first place and what they're running from, and about what happened in their past and how your character deals with it and overcomes their grief and loss. That's like the main story. The climate stuff is like secondary to it. And I think it's a really good story that most anyone can relate to, and I think it's like a lot of people will enjoy this one, especially since there's no combat. It's pretty chill. It's not. It's there's some like tense parts, but there's no like jump scares or anything. It's not like a horror game.
Mm.
There are some like creepy stuff that happens a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Lots of collectibles too. Like here, you get out of the boat, you gather some recipes and some items to craft and stuff.
How strong do you think the thalassophobia would be for people that, that suffer as such? Can they get through this?
The game is very well lit, so there's no like dark depths that you can't see where you're going. You can always see anything that's a danger, so there's no like fear of something you can't see. Like
Okay.
there's no large creatures or anything like that either. So it's like very manageable.
Got it.
It's not like Subnautica where like you're going in the dark and there's this you can hear something you don't know where it is. You're driving into the darkness, but it's none of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it's Jesse Cox safe, is what you're saying.
Yes, Jesse Cox would love this game.
I wish I could find a point in the VOD where you go up to the top of the water of the ocean, because it's gorgeous.
I only did it like a couple of times, but yeah, you can go to the top and look over, and the graphic style is very pretty. It's like a mix of Telltale games of old and more modernized looking graphics. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, I would argue that it kind of outdoes, for the water tech when you're at the top, it kind of outdoes Sea of Thieves. Granted, you're
It
not
is
always
really
on the
beautiful.
water, not interacting with it, so maybe the physics isn't there and it's just like a graphic thing. But I would love if it was like a screensaver type situation, because it's gorgeous looking.
Yeah,
just thought
I
that was
loved it. The best part was that I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't know what to expect with the story or the gameplay. It was just so different and original in what it was.
Yeah. Is it
Very good.
multi-plat? Do you know what platform?
I think it's on console.
Okay.
On console and PC.
This is the PC version you were playing?
Yeah.
Cool.
It plays best with the controller, anyways.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. That is Under the Waves. Strippin', what's top of mind? What else you been playing? Street Fighter, Starfield, what else you been diving into?
Dude, that's kind of it. But I watched an amazing Nicolas Cage movie last night. Amazingly terrible.
What did you watch?
So apparently there was a company that got the IP to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Uh-huh.
And then they got Nick Cage on board. And then they lost the IP, but they made the movie anyway.
Oh,
and it's called Willy's Wonderland. And it's only an hour and a half. And it's just Nicolas Cage trapped in like a restaurant with like killer animatronics. And he doesn't say a single line of dialogue in the whole movie. I don't know if they couldn't afford him to speak or just chose not to speak. But he doesn't say a word. And it's just like him and a bunch of animatronics for an hour and a half.
And
that's the whole movie. It's called Willy's Wonderland.
Does he just kill everything?
I'm not gonna tell you what he does and doesn't do, because I think everyone should at least see this movie once. But it was it was like terrible but incredible. It was like a standard Nick Cage movie in all its glory.
Huh.
Except he didn't say a word. He didn't say a damn word.
Yeah, Archangel in my chat says he thought it would be a challenge to not say a word, and it was his choice.
Yeah. And it's funnier because he never speaks. And everyone's just trying to navigate that. And they're like, oh, guess you're a man of few words. And just stupid shit like that. And he never says a fucking thing.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was. I thought I'd bring this up because it's kind of a video game,
Sure. Yeah, they lost the IP. And it's called what? Yeah. Willy's Wonderland?
Willy's Wonderland. Yeah. It's on, I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Got it.
But yeah,
Or his
that's what I watched
contract
last
was
night.
he gets like extra payment per word, and they're like, "Aha, we'll figure that out."
We'll get around this. Yeah, we'll figure this one
Yeah,
out.
it's to know that it was his choice is even funnier when you watch it. But yeah, that was what I did. I haven't really played any other games
You played this?
this week. I did play this. This is Trine 5.
How's
this
the
is,
fifth fucking try? I can't believe they made 5 of these games. It's
fucking
wild.
great. It's fucking great. But I played with some friends. I played with Stir, Lawman, and Kraken, and between us, we had 1 and maybe 2, my 1.5 brain cells. I would say it was really rough out here trying to navigate these puzzles with 4 of us.
Yeah.
The way it works is you start as the rogue. It's the same classes as the other games. You get the rogue, the warrior, and the wizard.
Well, it's 4-person though, right?
and
That's the new thing.
It's 4-person, but you still only have the 3 classes. You can just play whichever you want. And like all Trines, it's just a puzzle game. Like you go through, there's a little bit of combat, but mostly it's a puzzle game, and you solve puzzles together. So we got to a segment. You do the rogue first, and then you unlock the knight, and then you unlock the wizard. So this is us in the wizard part, but the the catch with the wizards is because if you had multiple wizards, it would make the puzzle too easy. So all the wizards only get 1 cube between them. And so every time someone tries to summon the cube, it steals it from someone else. And so we spent 10 minutes trying to navigate puzzles because someone just kept yoinking the cube, or someone would hit the wrong button and the cube would get stolen, or someone's controlling the cube and someone else tries to control it, and it was an absolute shit show. But it was very fun. And if you're looking for a game to just play with some friends, like a fun co-op puzzle experience, highly recommend it. It was great.
Cool.
The voice acting was fun. The music was good. The puzzles were great. And there's like secrets everywhere. So you can just kind of dive in and find secrets. There's a cool level up system. So you can unlock like level ups, and you can change characters on the fly as well. So you can like literally be a wizard, and then in the next room be like, oh, I think I need a warrior for this.
Oh, even co-op you can change.
Even co-op, you can just like boom, you can just be someone else.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's really fun. And it's not very like strict. Yeah, it's just a fun little puzzle game. But unfortunately for us, yeah, I know who not to play puzzle games with next time it's required.
You needed the puzzler.
I'm kind of I'm a himbo, and so I need someone with a brain. But it was like 4 himbos locked in a room. It was a nightmare. Like, look, I just watched one of us just try to stuff a cube in that tiny hole, and now we're hitting the other guy on the head. Like, it was terrible, but it was good. It was really fun. So yeah, definitely check it out Trine 5. It's on all platforms, I think, as well.
Cool. Yeah. They've got kind of is this a developer-wide sale right now on Steam? Because Trine 5 is $30, but like every one of their other games, like Trine 4 is $7.50, Trine 3 is $5.50, Trine is $3.30, Trine 2 is $5. So they got like all their old stuff on sale. Yeah, those are great puzzle games. I just can't believe that there's 5 of them. Like,
I remember 3. I didn't remember 4, and now there's 5. So that I guess they just keep firing them out. People love them, and they keep making them, and they're really well priced as well. So it's just a good game to pick up and play with friends.
Yeah. Chat saying we don't talk about Trine 3. I guess Trine 3 was bad.
Maybe.
I never played it. Yeah.
Maybe.
Have not played it. Could not comment on it. Dan, anything else you've been playing besides the Starfields and the Under the Waves? I can pull up your game list here.
Other than Armored Core, which we played a little bit of. We talked about that last week.
Did you guys both finish that?
Really. No, I did like the chapter 2 boss, and I think did chapter 3 boss. That's as far as I got before Starfield came out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking.
I broke the game by doing tank treads with shotguns and grenade launcher, and it was just
a joke.
So easy.
Yeah,
it's a joke. Everything was just dying really quickly.
Yeah,
the arena was one-shotting everything. It was broken.
That's the joke.
It's not balanced at all.
I break it. Yeah. Have they talked about if they're going to patch that at all?
From Software usually just sort of drops patches randomly. Like they did that with Elden Ring. They're just like, boop, here's a patch. We nerfed everything and buffed everything.
Yeah.
They might. Normally, they don't touch Armored Core. Normally, they just drop it, and then they're like, have fun. So, I'm hoping they do because of the PvP element, but maybe they won't. I don't know. I'm kind of jaded. The tag treads is so fucking strong, given that I played the game the other way and got my ass beat. So I hope all those people get nerfed to shit. That's my thoughts.
Fair.
Deserved.
Yeah.
Deserved.
Dan, what is this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game?
Oh, Shredder's Revenge. I don't know if you ever played the NES games, but
Oh yeah,
it's really fun. It's like a modern version of those games. If you liked like the Manhattan Project was the game I had on NES, and I played the shit out of that game. It's fun if you like the little street brawlers. This has, unlike the old game's, difficulty settings, so if you want to have an easier experience, you also level up, so you get stronger, you get more health and more like ninja meter and stuff. If you like the old games, it's like a love letter to the fans of the old NES Ninja Turtle games. They just launched a new DLC where there's like a survival mode where you go through and fight rooms and sort of are roguelike. It's okay, but I think the base game's a lot better. It's just fun to go through and experience the story and stuff.
Are they charging a lot for the DLC? Is it like $5 or?
I can't remember. I'll look it up right now.
Sure. I would.
This game's really fun.
It's like $7 for the DLC for this game, and the base game is about $22 right now.
Okay, gotcha.
No, 17, and the bundle is $22, so 17 for the game.
Cool. Yeah, Strippin. Apparently, you said you played this.
Yeah, it's not a long game. It's like 3 hours, but it's got a lot of replay value.
Mm-hmm.
This one has what was the DLC character that they put in, like Shredder's daughter?
I think so.
Okay, I didn't even know she was a character in the TMNT universe. Didn't realize that was the thing.
I know they've got like April O'Neil as a playable character, and she just shoots a gun, and there's some like other characters.
Wait, what? They just gave her a gun?
Yeah, well, I mean, what else she gonna do? They just gave her a real ass gun.
Learn karate or something. Like, what? You can't just give someone
She's
a gun.
She's a reporter, man. She doesn't know karate.
What do you mean?
Really fight much. She just like reports on stuff.
Oh,
give her a gun.
God. Give her a. What the hell? Jesus Christ.
Never smack people with a microphone.
Yeah.
She also does that.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, I was looking to see what else I've played. Pretty much just Starfield. Off stream, been still fucking playing Snap. Fuck both of you two for doing the sponsored streams. I'm still snapping.
Yeah, game is so addicting.
I'm playing NIKKE. I can't say anything.
Oh, how is the NIKKE progression for you? I'm loading.
They just released a NieR event, so I lost all my money.
How deep are you in the NieR event?
Oh, I've beat it. I've completed it.
No, I mean, like, how much money have you dumped into the NieR event trying to get?
Oh, I had so much. I knew it was coming for a couple of months, so I just kept saving up for it. So I actually
from like dailies or something.
Yeah, no, from swiping. Then,
you could have just lied. You could have just.
No, I'll be honest. I would swipe in the past, and I'd be like, I'll spend half of this and save half for the NieR event.
Oh,
so then when the NieR event dropped, I just had a bunch of money. But yeah, one of the cool things I want to shout is there's a mod that just dropped for Baldur's Gate 3 that added 54 new races to the game. Every single race from 5th edition. So like Eberron, Etheris, Kryn, Eorzea, like Changelings, Kobolds, Goliaths, Dampirs, Asemirs, like 54 new races.
And are they like fully modeled?
Yeah, fully modeled. They took a lot of the models that existed in the game, and then just put them in. And then there's
shit.
There's a bit of code that the Baldur's that Larian modded in. They put into the game, anticipating mods. So there's a bit of code where NPCs will recognize if you're not any of the races from the base game. So when people mod in races, they'll be like, "Oh, I don't see many of you around here." Like they'll acknowledge that you're a race that's not
so cool.
a modded race.
So
it's super cool. Yeah. So there's some dialogue options that are like related to you being a modded race.
That's
and
crazy,
this new one, it's
dude.
called Fantastical Multiverse. If anyone wants to check it out, and there's
Is there like a
54
trailer
new
for
races.
it? Fantastic.
No, it's literally just a mod on Nexus Mods that you can check out. But, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, holy shit.
And they've because obviously Eorzea falls under the 5th edition now, so they've actually added like Hures, Elizons, Garleans as well, like as playable races, and just anything from 5e, Minotaurs, Kobolds, Goblins. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. Bugbears, be a bugbear.
Sorry about that, chat. I just blasted them with the fucking trailer.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool little mod that just dropped.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That game is going to get so much legs to it because it's just like Starfield, right? They're only going to get better the more time that the modding community has with them.
Yeah, both of them are.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and Snap, I'm currently Omega ranked. I'm level 83.
What does that mean?
I'm level 83 in the game
Omega
for
rank?
like the ladder.
Oh.
I got to become infinite by Monday at midnight. I don't know if it's gonna happen. We'll see.
What do you get if you become infinite by Monday at midnight?
You get this card skin.
Ooh,
it's okay.
Oh, okay.
I like card backs. I like getting them all, even if
card backs are a great card game edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone up 700 rank though since I started playing. So that's.
Oh, you've been on the grind.
Yeah, I play a lot. It's bad.
I'm glad that
I haven't swiped though. I haven't swiped. I haven't swiped yet. Okay. I spent $25 in it. I spent $25 in it, and that's it.
I was gonna say, you said I haven't swiped so many times without us even prompting it that it just that told me that you had swiped. It was like a panic thing.
Only $25 because I had to get the red skull card that they put in because it was really cool looking, and it also gave me some credits and blah blah blah.
Live your best life, man.
And then I've been playing Destiny. Destiny 2. That new raid launched. The new old raid launched Friday. I have not done it yet. I've heard that it's pretty good. I've heard that it's actually harder than the previous raid, Ron. So that's cool. A lot of people are enjoying that. The person that got world first for the raid claimed their 4th world first title. So they're in a league of their own. I should say the group, not the person, because there's 6 of them. So 4th in a row. That's what it is. Yeah, they're kind of crushing. They're untouchable. I think it took them about 6-ish hours to get that. And the crazy thing is, the first place group and the second place group had like a literal minute and 4 seconds or something between the boss kills. That's how close the raids were, which is pretty fucking cool that they were that close to one another. So that's great. And then, I played. Did I talk about Guild Wars 2 last week with you guys? Played some more Guild Wars 2. They had a new expansion come out.
Is it good?
Yeah, that game's like a sleeper MMO hit. They launched on Steam a year or 2 ago, and it like ballooned their entire player base. And so it's kind of getting like a resurgence in a lot of ways. It's like the most casual MMO that you can play and just have fun, hang out with, like drop in, drop out type shit. So it's a lot of fun. I want to go back and do all the stories in it because there's 4 expansions now, I think, and each one's like 15-ish hours of story content, and story content's pretty good. Doesn't take long at all to max level in that game. It's like a really fun, just casual grind. Kind of like how I think Danny played a lot of ESO. It's similar to that in a lot of ways. You just drop in, hang out, see the world, experience a cool story.
Very low pressure MMO.
Yeah. Strippin, how's the DSR rating going? I know you've been doing that.
Really good. Yeah, I was told it would be the hardest one. I know it's just because I've done 3 already, so I kind of like because a lot of when we're learning a lot of things, I can just reference the old ones. and it's like a similar mechanic. But I've done 2 sessions of 3 hours each, and I saw phase 6 of 7. So
Wow.
yeah, probably either going to get it down on Tuesday or Thursday, which is on my next 2 sessions. So
That's your next session.
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you spent on
well.
it so far? You said
6 hours. Yeah. So we do 3-hour sessions.
That's
3
not
days
bad, actually.
So we did 2 sessions this week just gone, and then we'll do 3 this week. And I reckon it'll be done by then. But if not, I'll be close.
What are you? Are you playing Dancer?
Yeah, I'm playing Reaper.
Oh, Reaper.
Yeah, playing Reaper.
I think you literally just said all of this, and I was pulling up the VOD, so I completely.
No, I didn't say I was Reaper.
Okay, all right,
I am
good.
playing.
I'm glad.
It's been I've done 3 ultimates. One is a warrior, one is a dancer, and one is a Reaper. So this is like just stuck to what I knew already. Didn't want to learn something new and learn the fight. But yeah, for those who don't know what ultimates are, they're like the penultimate challenge for like a MMO raider. They're like super hard boss fights. They're normally between like 15 and 20 minutes in length. And if you die at any point or mess up, you go back to the start. So you have to execute like a 20-minute flawless fight. And the mechanics are quite fluid. They'll be like set mechanics, but who gets assigned what will always change. So you kind of have to learn every role and adapt. And yeah, they're really fun. The group I'm going with is a guy called Sausage Roll, and they run something called Project Ulti. And it's essentially a project. You can check out the Discord, or you can check out his stream. But it's basically a bunch of like really, really good Final Fantasy raiders that have created Discord for people that have wanted to do an ultimate, but maybe they don't have like that kind of friendship group, or they don't know how to get into it. And you can kind of like book in with them, and they'll like take you through and get you your totem. So it's a cool little project just to like support the community. And they're all like insanely good at the game. So they've been like taking me through and teaching me, and they're all nice guys. So if you're interested, yeah, just like Google Project Ulti. There's some fan gamer articles on them and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, cool guys. It's been fun.
If this is the penultimate, what's the ultimate?
Fight?
Yeah. I'm curious for you. You said this is the penultimate fight.
There's an ultimate after this. The new one.
Oh, the new one. That's
the
okay.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate. Gotcha.
Yeah, this is the second hardest. Yeah, top is the new one, and that's like apparently a lot harder than this. So
got it.
I'm gonna get this one down, and I'm gonna go for the last one at some point. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
but I know they said if we manage to get this by Tuesday, then they might be hitting you up to get you in on this. So
yeah, I'm supposed to do some sort of rating. I think the end of September or something like that. The issue, though, you're playing Reaper. I was like, yeah, I play White Mage now, and like everyone just said, "Oh," like that was the response. Because like on a DPS, they could carry the DPS, right? But if I'm healing,
yeah,
I actually
There's
have
only
to be
2
good,
healers, and you have to be like flawless. Yeah. I mean, I can still do it. When I did T, I was like, I want a tank, and they were like, you shouldn't, and I was like, I want to though.
Yeah,
and it took a little bit longer, but I did it as a tank. So I think
I haven't healed at all. And
they're
like
opposed to. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah. It was just funny because
it's
they were all just like, "Oh, okay, all right, we'll see."
It's definitely a good way to just get really good at the game in a really short period of time. Like every time I do one of these, I just like get really, really good at Final Fantasy because there's like nothing harder than this.
Yeah,
and
then, you got to learn how to.
It's kind of a cakewalk.
You got to learn how to play.
Fun. It's really fun.
You got to get.
It's kind of testing yourself.
Cool. Well, what's up? Cohh and Zeke should. I hope Zeke is back by next week. I guess we'll keep an eye on that. But what do you guys got coming up? What's big on the agenda? I guess Dan, more Starfield for you, probably.
Yeah, probably playing that indie game called Starfield.
Yeah, the small little indie project, little Starfield.
Judging by the side of the game, it's going to take me so long to just get through. I just want to do at least all the main quests, like all the factions, all the storyline. Yeah, it just seems like that's going to be a huge task.
What do you think will happen first? Do you finish all that, or proper mods come out for the game that make it better?
There are already mods coming out. Like Script Extender is already working with Starfield. Like modders are out in full force on this game already. Like, so I'm excited to see like what they do.
I want to see what the most popular all time is. So right now
There's
the
a
most popular is the DLSS upscaler.
Yep.
There's
Mhm.
also performance
Mhm.
optimizations, achievement enabler. Oh, so you can actually go in and like turn on the weight thing and then do
Go
the
get achievements.
achievement
Yeah.
enabler. There's an FOV mod.
Mhm.
Yeah, what else? I keep cutting you off. What else is there?
One that like moves the XP meter from being in the middle of the screen to the side, so it doesn't like how you every time you get XP, it's like right in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
Someone moved that over. Someone like the game uses heavy color filters for planets. Like you go in there, there's like a color filter for make this planet look red and stuff. You can turn that off and stuff. So lots of little
There's
things.
wow, did you see this one called Quantum Reshade?
Oh yeah, reshade mods are great in Skyrim. Like you go in, they tweak how it basically it's like a imagine like there's the game, they put like a filter over the game to make it like change the colors
Look
and
at
the
that.
sharpness and stuff. Yeah, it can look real good. Those are the things that make
Wow.
Skyrim look modern even like 10 years later.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, those have
amazing.
gotten really good.
These are like before and after shots.
I'm putting
God,
this
that
on
looks
before I
so
play
much
again.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah, that looks great.
beautiful stuff. Like I don't know if you noticed, but in the game, the UI is 30 FPS. Someone's made a mod to make it 60 FPS. The UI, like the menus and stuff.
That explains so much. Holy shit.
Yep.
God damn
See,
it, that's
modders are
frustrating.
fast. They're quick. They make these decisions so quickly. You wonder like why Bethesda didn't just do it themselves.
Wow, look at that shot. That looks actually impressive as hell.
Yeah,
I
those
might
reshade
mess
mods
around.
can be absolutely amazing. So pretty.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Might have
Hey,
to mess
if
with
you are a
that.
modder out there, shout out to you, man, doing God's work.
For
Mhm.
real. Yeah.
I cannot wait for someone to have a Enterprise ship where I can fly the Enterprise and walk around the
Oh my
inside of
god.
it.
You know it's
Yeah.
coming too. You
I've
know it's
seen
coming.
I saw someone was making or someone's already made a Star Destroyer. They have a Millennium Falcon. There's a bunch of like X-wings, Y-wings, A-wings, all the wings. There's been a lot of stuff. You're gonna get a lot of that.
Mhm.
God, I wonder how easy it is to put some of these mods in.
Some of them are real quick. You just like drop them in the file folder and then drop another file, and then it just works.
Yeah, like
Some of
60
them are more complex. You just have to read the instructions for each one.
less spongy enemies, 60 FPS smooth UI. Remove the ugly green tone, no FPS loss.
Yeah.
Oh man. Immersive damage, all clothes, helmet, backpack items. Easy digi pick. In-game oh yeah, there's no FOV slider. That's wild.
Yep. Pretty much, if there's anything in the game that annoys you, more than likely there is a mod already for it if they can do it yet. So some things are more complex and they'll take time to fix, but they are so fast at changing things and fixing things and tweaking stuff.
You got improved blood. Better splash. Oh, someone just threw in a billion splash screens, like what you were saying, Dan. I guess just a bunch of JPEGs or PNGs.
Yep. Bunch of cool like files you drop in your My Documents folder and just puts those as load screens.
Wild.
Someone made a better movement speed where you walk faster, run quicker.
Huh. I might have to mess with some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how long it'll take for like a map mod to be put in there and like a UI mod. You got to think that like the Sky UI folks are working on this,
This
right?
will be a different game in a year. It'll be this like something very different.
Yeah. Yeah. God, look at what is this? Real life Starfield experience. Look at the graphic thing here. It removes all the hues from it. And so it just looks like better. There's no like
That looks great. Yeah.
weird hue on like that.
Yeah, it reminds me of what they did in Fallout 3 had like this green filter over the whole game and you could turn that off and the game just looks 1,000 times better.
Yeah. Got it. It's like 9-day difference.
Yeah, so good.
I have to mess with that. All right, let's stop looking at mods. we'll
It's
never.
a black hole of
Yeah,
like
we'll never end
time
the
if you
show.
just look at
God,
those, yeah.
can you imagine? I know you've done like I think we've all done the mod streams where you just sit there and like pick
Yep.
and choose mods and then hit
Yeah.
play, and then it's a fucking massive crash fiesta.
I think I prefer this bread texture to that one. Yeah, I think I'll go with this one.
Yeah, I like that. It looks so much rounder. The bread
That was
slice.
that was
is
my
good.
last Cyberpunk playthrough was very heavily modded, and it would frequently go wrong.
It would just crash on you.
Yeah.
Among other things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And an
Uh,
active stock market in there as well, which was great.
yeah, I remember that. Did they put that in the main game yet? That was pretty cool. How the
I don't know if they
prices and
did, but it's
everything
such a cool
changed.
feature to have like your actions basically dictate the stock market of all the corporations in
Yeah.
the Cyberpunk world.
That's really cool.
It was fun.
It's a good mod. I
Yeah.
hope that gets in there somehow in the future. Anyways, let's call it a show. Thank you both for joining us here on this. There's conversation in chat. I think this might be the first time we've done a drop frames without two or more of the hosts of like me, Cohh, or Zeke with two or three of us. So we did like a dropped Fims episode way back in the day in like the first year of the show, but I think this might be the first. Anyways, let's do some shout outs. What do you guys got going on? Where can people check you out? Dan, we'll start with you. Hopefully all the graphics are the correct thing.
Yeah, awesome. I'm DansGaming, variety streamer on Twitch. You can find me at twitch.tv/DansGaming. Currently playing through Starfield. I'm playing through all the main quests first. We're going to try to do as much of the game as possible over the next few weeks. If you feel like checking it out, stop on by. Thanks for having me on the show, JP, and I love talking with you, Strippin. Thank you guys very much.
Do better shout outs than last week.
Yeah.
What did I say last week? Do the right thing. Was that all I said?
Yeah.
Do the right thing. Yeah.
Twitch.tv/Strippin. Tonight I'm going to be starting a snow runner run of the new hard mode, which is repairs and gas cost money. You can't recall your vehicles, and if you get stuck or if you run out of money, you soft lock and it's game over. So I'm going to be doing that with my friend tomorrow. Should be
thanks for the invite.
Fun. Look, I don't. You just not cut out. For
you cut me out of the Final Fantasy rating, and now you come out of this freaking.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Look, we're gonna test it out today, and if it's good,
you're doing a mudding show while Zeke is dying right now at Burning Man.
Yeah,
how dare you?
Yeah, no,
unbelievable.
I mean, someone's got to get supplies to that muddy field of Burning Man, and it's gonna be me and my Fleet Star. All right, so that's where I'm at. I'm gonna be doing some Final Fantasy raiding this week. I'm gonna be doing some Street Fighter. Maybe I'm not supposed to because I've got tendonitis in both my fingers. But I keep playing and making it worse. I'm working on that.
Fucking stop!
Then,
what the hell?
I know. And then I'll probably check out Starfield again because Dan's managed to sell me on pushing through and getting into some story. Yeah,
you gotta mod it. You gotta get modded.
Thank you for having me. You guys are awesome. I love you both.
Yeah, appreciate both of you coming on.
I do too, but
I compliment you before you attacked me. Did you see that? And then you had to step.
No, I was gonna say also, there's got to be some part of Zeke that is like surrounded by mud, having just played SnowRunner with the two of us.
And every time he looks at it, it reminds him of what he suffered.
Of the experience.
You can't get away.
You know that's got to have crossed his mind.
He looks like a tire tread in the mud, and he's like there again. It's like numb.
He's got to be like. I'm sure there's still some things floating around that he just like has very awful memories that are constantly he's just reliving them nonstop. Yeah. Asking people if he's got a winch, if anyone's got a winch. Yeah, anyone got a winch? Get me out of this. Can't wait to hear the stories. I'm sure whenever he gets back from that. That will do it for Drop Frames. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Thanks once again to both of you. We should be back with another episode next week. I'm sure we'll talk some more Starfield and we'll see what else. We're out of here for now. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.